Hello, good afternoon. Great to be with you again. Yes, on that time in round 8, Chris Yarran and Menzel did the damage up forward. Yarran booted 4 and Menzel 3, so it'll be interesting to see if Yarran does start up forward again today. The interest also, as far as Carlton is concerned, who will get Nick Riewoldt? Will it be Rowe? Will it be Jamieson? St Kilda has won the toss. They're kicking to the right of screen, or the Coventry end, here at Etihad Stadium, with the roof once again closed and the crowd building up. As you like to say, Hutto, they come late here at Etihad.
Well, they'll need to come pretty quickly because we're not far from the opening bounce. So Chris Yarran starting in defence, but as Sandy said, kicking those 4 goals last time, wouldn't surprise if he looks to move forward. He's such a dangerous weapon for the Blues. And Nick Riewoldt has gone. Well, he's in amongst the centre half forward, and it looks like Jamieson will be his opponent as we get ready to start this round 16 clash. Carlton and St Kilda from Etihad Stadium.
And it's going to be Warnock up against Billy Longer to get proceedings underway in the middle. A bounce that allows Warnock to run over the top of Longer. Henderson gets claimed. He's ripped to the ground. The ball won't come out of there in a hurry. Carazzo provides a tackle once again. Takes it to ground with Stephen, and we've got another ball up. Desperate times for both of these clubs. Blues have lost 5 in a row, the Saints 9. Here's Yarran up towards the 50, a good start. And the mark taken by Menzel. They were the 2 that did the damage in round 8. Menzel, quieter last week. We'll be looking for a big game today. He's a left footer, he kicks from 55, just puts it to the top of the square. Where are the big men? No one able to take it cleanly. Dennis Lane gets a hurried kick out wide. Murphy leads his opposing captain in Riewoldt. Murphy tries to get through Schneider, but he can't. He gets ripped to the ground and he's going to lose the football. So Schneider to clear it out for the Saints.
Well, they almost got themselves into a pickle, the Saints, on the way out, and they haven't quite got there yet. They have an opportunity to do so now. Dennis Lane playing back in defence in his first game for the year, which is interesting. Mincington getting involved as well there. Now Everett comes away, brings it back into the middle and finds Walker. And now they're starting to run and spread the Blues.
Right there.
Carazzo at half-back, eyeing off Menzel through the middle. Maybe Tui, but decides to go down the line instead. Henderson is presented. Delaney will spoil. He's done that successfully all year. And that one just creeps over the line. So no score after the opening couple of minutes.
As you mentioned, Hutto, Delaney on Henderson. Gwilt's got the big job on Levi Casbolt, giving away a lot of height.
Big afternoon for Henderson today.
Jack Stevens gone to Judd. Hack forward by Curnow.
Push out, no eyes to the footy.
Henderson to take the free kick. He's struggled for much of the season after having a limited pre-season. He's kicked 16 goals, 10, Lockie Henderson. Spent most of his time in the forward line. He's guided that so very well to Everett.
It's a really clever kick, and Everett had a distinct height advantage. All Henderson did was wait until Everett took front position and then chipped it out in front. So if he can run and jump, mark the ball at a high point, very difficult for his opponent to spoil.
The young Mincington, certainly from a height point of view, giving away plenty there. Just 179 centimetres compared to Everett at 194. Andreas has been a good recruit for the Blues. Wasn't the strongest strike, but it's deadly accurate. And Carlton have the first of the afternoon, courtesy of Andreas Everett.
The flexibility in Andreas Everett, the way that he can play this game of footy. He can play on a wing, he can push back, he can tag. He's got a great tank as well. And he likes getting forward. He's kicked some big goals in his career. He's played at a couple of clubs now, and now making the most of his opportunity with the Carlton Footy Club. And I like the way that he goes about his footy, Andreas Everett.
Did you play with him at the Dogs?
I did play with him at the Dogs. He had an impact there with us. Would have loved to have still seen him in the Dogs colours, actually. But had an impact with the Sydney Swans as well. He kicked some big goals in some big games for them. And now, like I said, just playing his role perfectly with the Blues.
Longer and Warnock go at it once again. And it's going to be McLean who gets it out for the Blues. Down towards Casbolt and Gwilt. Big job for Gwilt. Well done by Thomas. Fierce tackle and free kick. Didn't have the ball, so the Saints will come down towards Rewalt. Jamison's got Rewalt to start with. Rowe is on Stanley. Eventually they do drift it towards centre wing. The 100 gamer in Armitage takes the mark. Plays on quickly now towards Stevens. Bad kick for Rewalt. Overruns it. Chance now for Tui. Scoops it up nicely. Then gets the hand pass away. They're out of trouble towards Menzel. Menzel's on the wing. Good start by him after a quiet one, as we said last week. He finds McLean. McLean quickly inside 50 once again. That's a penetrating kick. And an excellent mark taken just inside 50 to give the Carlton side a chance now to kick their second in as many minutes. White back in the side this week, playing his 12th game for the season. 45-degree angle, so he's got plenty to look at. Not a renowned goal kicker, just a couple to his name. He stammers towards goal, and he's not going to trouble the scorer on that occasion.
He had a couple of stutters in the run-up, didn't he? I like the kick of Menzel to Brock McLean in the centre corridor. What it does is open up the entire 50-metre arc for the forward line. So normally you can then identify a kick to a lead, which they were able to do on that occasion. Unfortunately, White couldn't finish. I also like Yaron playing forward, Jono, but a really big job for Cameron Shenton on him.
Huge job this afternoon, especially with the defensive pressure that Yaron can put on.
Sebros knocked it away. Shenton needed help and found it with Dempster, and now Weller. Works the handball just ever so carefully, and then Robertson, who's back in the team, been out of the side since round 2, struggled with his fitness and form. Gets a chance today. Dunstan off half back. What an impressive youngster he is. He's clearly wanted to work the handball. Thumped down the line by Savage. Gets it to half forward off the hands of Rewalt. Dennis Lane, who was in defence very early, but now he's in that forward area in towards Rewalt. And again, opportunity for Snyder. Oh, he would have snaffled that on most occasions. Now here's an opportunity for Rewalt. And Jamison going at it hard. Jamison gradually getting on top the further they got to the boundary line. He didn't quite get it over, and now he has.
He was desperate to get it over the boundary line then. That was the whole process was designed to get that ball over the boundary line. Did very, very well,
the bounce worked in his favour. It just landed at Rewalt's toes. He couldn't take it clean. Brought him back into the contest, and he was able to handle himself quite well.
You're right. He did it with some subtlety, but he was absolutely desperate. Here's Minchington. Impressive last week. Wanted Stanley. He got edged out of it. Blues are going to come away now. Menzel's offering a lead. He may go further than that. No, he's going to take the little man on the defensive side of centre wing. Cameron Shenton, the man on the mark. Goes up towards Casbolt.
And for the moment, they've just rotated. Casbolt's come further up, Henderson deeper. So Gwilt stayed with the deeper player, which was Henderson, and Delaney came up with Casbolt.
Kick that's going to drop short. Henderson couldn't pick it up on the half volley. Gwilt had him when he didn't have the footy. Is holding on. The advantage is not paid. Henderson's going to hand it over to Judd. So Chris Judd thought about Menzel, then decides to go short to Thomas.
Well, he didn't have a lead. There was no lead forthcoming. Both Casbolt and Henderson were up the ground out of position, so he couldn't go long. Just had to buy some time.
Thomas called to go now. Puts them inside 50. Warnock's got to get his skates on. He got one, two. Couldn't complete the mark, however. And they bring out back towards Schneider once again. Thomas provides the opposition. Thomas recovers well, picks it up, gets boot to ball, wobbles it towards Menzel. He couldn't take it cleanly. Schneider onto the left boot hurriedly for the Saints. Down towards Rewalt. Just about everyone in one half of the ground. He overruns it again. The door opens for Rowe. He gives it away, Rowe. Away towards Doherty. Now they're in towards the middle once again. And strong mark is taken by Blaine Johnson. Johnson's going to give a little ground. Head backwards before going forwards. Jamison to the outer side of the ground, and around they go. Everett, the first up, has a bounce. Now he gets the skates on, puts them inside 50. Henderson's the target, and Henderson he finds.
Good strong mark, 1 against 2.
It's a transition play from Carlton as well. Johnson takes a big mark, goes back, then they got the player set up on the fat side of the ground. They made the ground nice and big, the Blues defenders, when they knew they'd won possession of the ball, spread the defence from what St Kilda were able to produce, and it landed in the hands of this man who's on fire early in the game, Andreas Everett. And that's an excellent kick forward. Henderson makes it work with a good contested mark.
98th game for the young man from Birregurra. Good footballer, but an excellent golfer. Kicks from just inside 40 metres. Drop punt, makes no mistake. Henderson gets his first, and the Blues away to a positive start. They've got a couple on the board, the Saints yet to score.
Just controlling the flow of the game at the moment. 5-2, the inside 50s in favour of the Blues. And if they're getting quality entries where the player delivering the ball isn't under a lot of pressure and he's got time to pick the option that he wants, well, you just think they've probably got a little bit of firepower that's going to kick a winning score against the Saints. They need Henderson firing. He's been down for a while. He's a talented player. They'd love to really have him play a major role today. 13-3 the marks as well in favour of the Blues.
Controlling the footy so far at Etihad Stadium. Contested possession count in favour of the Blues as well. 12-9. Longer. Brings it down now. Weller able to feed it out the back to Savage. He's found some form in the last couple of weeks. It's just good news after he came across from Hawthorn and struggled for much of the season. Riewoldt and Dennis Lane were both finding out, and it was Riewoldt who got to it first.
What a great play from Nick Riewoldt. Yeah, they win the centre clearance, the all-important centre clearance. Weller gets it in deep. Riewoldt's the man that competes, but that's why he's so hard to stop, because he hits the deck, gets up and gets going again. We'll see here, great vision from behind the goals, that the clearance comes in, and it's a good deep entry here, but it keeps the Carlton defenders on their toes. All of a sudden they start to get just a tiny bit nervous. Ball hits the deck, Riewoldt stays involved, and that's why it's just contest after contest from Riewoldt. And just a nice little push off there on his direct opponent Jamison to create the meter he needed to be smart, World Cup style.
10.5 minutes for the Saints. It has taken to score their first goal. Casbolt having a run on the ball, and the big man's away, but there's been a whistle that beats him to it, and he swats Schneider out of the way. So Murphy, the recipient, comes wide. That's okay towards Doherty. Doherty will look inside 50 or go laterally, and he decides on the latter.
This is working for them at the moment, though. Go again.
Walker.
The midfielders are really pushing really hard, Sandy.
They've got Carazzo out wider, and that's where it's delivered. Carazzo still outside 50. Up towards White. Couldn't take the mark in opposition to Gwilt. Now Shenton gets the hand pass away towards Dempster. He gets corralled, is forced to turn back the other way. Kicks wide over the head of Carazzo, and it's over the line for a throw-in. One straight kick the difference. Nick Malthouse has never won a wooden spoon, and he certainly won't want to lose this game today, because he's got a tough run home. Doherty tries to soccer off the ground. It's effective. Up towards full forward once again. Warnock with the height. Gwilt is an effective spoiler, but Warnock recovers well. Shenton provides the tackle. Armitage gets it out, then takes it back in his 100th game. A low, worm-burning pass down towards Weller. He couldn't take it cleanly. The door opens for Judd. Warnock again. The big man gives it away. Here's a chance now, but the kick goes in towards the square. Delaney gets at the back. Thumps it over the line, and one behind. 2-1-13, and the Saints just with that one straight goal from Riewoldt on the board.
8 entries for the Blues for just 3 scoring results.
Oh, I like it.
Set play, Port Adelaide style, this is.
It exactly like Port Adelaide, wasn't it?
Except it was Shenton, not Matt White, running onto it. And he's done okay, though, they've worked the handball through and able to use the run they've got with Billings, getting involved a couple of times.
That's a horrendous
It is. But pure set play. First point for the afternoon. St Kilda tried to obviously pull off what they'd worked on throughout the week by allowing Shenton to get the ball and run.
The only thing that didn't happen, Jono, was the kick needed to be a few metres further out over his head in front to let him run onto it. But it's good to see them trying some innovative tactics from these sort of set plays.
Well, they did speak about that pre-game, boys. I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag too early, but it's good, as you said, Chase. That's what they need to try and do. They need to create some of these structures and actually get them to work.
Well, the ball apparently not going over the line. Well, it has gained about 35 to 40 metres for the Saints.
It's a wonderful access that Barry Hall was given to spend time down the rooms and look at their preparation, look at the tactics and how they're going to set up. And we'll hear more of that throughout the course of the match.
Stanley fends it off. Stephen coming charging out of the stoppage. stopped in his tracks. Savage also feeling the heat from McLean. Now Carazzo. He could have given to Gibbs.
Oops.
He was winding his way through, and they take the advantage there. Well, it doesn't look like it.
That's where Stephen tried to give and go. He was out, he was clear. He needed to release by foot for the Saints.
Yaron, perfect delivery for Menzel, who had a quiet week last week. As Sandy mentioned, just 5 disposals, has already had 3, and this is his 4th disposal coming up.
He's been effective early. He's had a couple of ball across half back. He's working up. And you can see Shenton there. He's blowing already in the early stages of this game, which will give that man on screen plenty of confidence knowing that he's working his opponent over in the early stages.
His 2nd season of AFL footy, 20 goals, 9 coming in today, Troy Menzel. And this from 30 metres out shouldn't be a problem for a highly skilled youngster, and it isn't. Carlton 3 goals, 1. St Kilda 1 straight. The margin is back to 13 points.
Well, I can understand why Cameron Shenton's blowing a bit. He was chasing around Chris Yaron for the first 10 or 12 minutes, and then there was a little crossover, so he was actually on Menzel there. Probably thought it was time to get a spell, get a bit of breath back. This is the set play kick out.
See where Shenton started on Henderson.
And he's running straight down the middle, but the kick from Savage needed to carry that pack to open space. Shenton was good enough to get possession and get the ball out, which allowed them to continue on. But if that kick was another 5 or 10 metres further in front, you can see the open space over the back.
Margin out to 13 points.
So he's a trendsetter already, Ken Hinkley. He's got teams copying him.
Stanley having a run on the ball against Warnock. Jard unable to take it out. Stanley goes a good second attempt, locking the ball up, but has given away the free kick. So Carazzo.
He was his assistant last year.
Correct.
He might have thought of the idea first.
In fact, it might have been his idea. You're right.
Here's Menzel again. Just outside 50. Wants to go short. White is the target, and White he finds.
That mark stat again, Sandy, we just saw a flash up. 25 marks to 3.
Staggering. So White back in the lineup this week.
His first shot this afternoon wasn't great. It was a lot easier than the one that he has now. So we'll see if he can make amends.
Tucked on the boundary line and kicking from 46 metres. Drop punt on its way. It's a good-looking kick. He's made amends in no uncertain fashion, Jono. Simon White gets his first, and it's 4 individual goal kickers now for the Blues.
He had much better rhythm in the run-up too, John. We saw a double stutter in his first shot that ended up going out in the full, but it's funny, you get a difficult angle, maybe less pressure on the kicker in his mind. He's probably not expected to kick it, just a little bit more freedom. Again, Menzel providing plenty of options on the lead. And Sean Dempsey's going to need to really crack down on that. And there, Simon White's a player that's played at both ends. He's played as a 3rd tall defender, 3rd tall forward, but that's a beautiful kick, that one.
Just the 3rd goal of his career, Simon White. Saints need to respond. Got to get and keep their hands on the footy, but it's all one way at the moment. Tui delivers for Thomas, who leapt up. His timing was good. He just couldn't grip it. Potentially could have been interfered with. Lays a tackle too high now on Nunes.
Yeah, Nunes might have been lucky originally not to give away the free kick to Thomas.
So Nunes blasts the kick
ball
to space for Weller, who turns and looks into the 50. Walker is the spare to get back in front of Stanley.
He lost
He almost tripped over.
You know what? In fairness to Matt Weller, though, Nick Revolt led far too early before Weller even had him in his vision, and he was virtually out on the flank when Weller turned around and looked at the corridor. There was nobody there.
Murphy cuts in with the next kick. Finds Everett to give them some options both in and outside the corridor. Wayne Johnson comes up to take it. If you say it quickly, it sounds like Wayne Johnson, doesn't it? Back in the Blues lineup. Managed to burn the footy a little here, though. They're going to get it back with a bit of high contact.
You'd have to put him in at number 7, Gurns. I don't think the Dominator would like 45.
No, probably not. Walker goes short, and now back again to Jamison. An aggressive kick to find Rowe when there was some element of risk. Very well executed. Rowe playing the waiting game. Eventually saw something that he liked. Everett's got to the right position.
He ran from the other side of the ground, Andreas Everett. Then he just had Jack Billings on the bit and worked him over, and that's why he was able to gain this ball.
These uncontested marks, it's becoming ridiculous. 33 marks to 4, 34 to 4. They are just controlling the footy, and the Saints are unable to put enough pressure on to stop Carlton controlling the flow of the ball.
And still it goes as Turu is pumping the handball out to Murphy, tries to hit Casbolt, and he did.
Well, he played on. He didn't know he was going to get paid.
Yeah, it was a delayed whistle.
And it may have been 52 with Wilt coming right over the mark.
Kick comes into Revolt instead. Saints, as we've said, now finally out of link with it. A mark or two. Seb Ross, vacant goal square will tempt him. He seemed a bit uncertain, and in the end he hits the chest of big Reece Stanley.
See, that's the problem when Revolt comes up the ground as well.
Look at Stanley though now, Jay. So he's got his back to the play.
Yeah.
He's 50. If you're going to kick from 55, that's where you get back quickly and actually turn around and face your options. Yeah, look at your options going forward. He had players trying to move for him, and he's back to play because he's a bit fatigued.
So Reece Stanley spent some time out of the team. He's still just 23 years of age. But has played 11 games for the season for 8 goals, 4. Kicked a couple last week against the Tigers. It's pretty close to the man on the mark. That's a mighty strike. Wow, goalpost high.
Gee, that's good.
Why. Good on him. He needed to kick it. Good result for Stanley. Good result for St Kilda. And a good passage of play here as well to get the ball in the hand. Stanley's moving. He's making multiple leads. Ross gets closed up here in the end, just has to go to him.
Well, you can see Seb Ross was looking, but unfortunately Reece Stanley was the only St Kilda player in the attacking 50. He had no options in the end, had to kick short and wide when he really didn't want it.
It's a big bomb from Stanley. The Saints second. They've got almost 5 minutes to try and get a couple more on the board to end the first quarter and stay with the Blues. Casbolt having a run on the ball up against Billy Longer. Longer gets a chance to run at it. Judd couldn't take it initially, but he goes a second time across to Everett, who's had an excellent first quarter. He bounces his way through the middle. He has a couple. Looks inside 50. Going long. Menzel will be a target. Can't take it cleanly the first time. Yaron at the back. That's what he loves, just picking up the crumbs and delivering when he has to. And there's the immediate reply.
There's another free out of this. Maybe.
Don't give it away. Don't give it away. You can hear the umpire.
It's a Carlton free then.
So Henderson settling down. And now White, who's already kicked one. There you could see Gwilt having it explained. So White, a gimme goal for him. It's just 12 or 13 metres when he's going to be kicking the ball from goal, virtually dead in front. And that's pretty undisciplined by St Kilda. Suddenly they've gone from 4-1 to 6-1 in the blink of an eye and have shot away.
You don't see this too
25-point lead.
It's not what you want to see, is it? I mean, you could hear the umpire explaining it. Said he was grabbed in a headlock type action and dragged to the ground, which was completely unnecessary. And if players are doing that off the ball, you want to see the umpires pay the free kicks.
They've been going into the corridor a fair bit here. We just see some vision of them with their leads. All the leads are coming up the middle, and they're getting the ball into a dangerous spot. Another one there from Andreas Everett right down the middle. And they're getting results at the moment because of that great play, getting the ball back into a dangerous spot.
Margin out to an alarming 25 points if you're a Saints fan. Armitage in game 100. And they're able to control the footy and maybe get a clean exit. Initially from Snyder, and now Weller bombs it high. Tough for Revolt against 2 Blues. Playing very close checking on him, as you would expect. A fumble from Montagna. Allows Murphy into pounce. Works Curnow well. Hesitates as he was getting Saints from all sides coming at him. Unflustered McLean Thumping kick. Jardine Simpson, plenty of experience there and skill to work it through for the Blues. Simpson's bolting away. Judd will kick it up for him. Dennis Lane in pursuit. It's all about the bounce now for Simpson. And the hurried ball into the 50 gave Johnson a bit of an opportunity. Might put a big tackle on. He did. Was that a handball from Ray? Must have just been. Ross kicks to half back. And it's out. Now we've tracked down the free kick as to why that second scoring shot was paid. That's it there.
Against Dempster. Grabbing him in the headlock. You can't do that. And I think White was just letting Dempster know that it was his drop mark that let the ball get over the back and allowed Yaron to kick the goal.
Simpson from the throw-in. Can't keep it in play, so he'll go through the motions again.
Being played mainly as a defender, currently under Mick over the last few weeks, Cade Simpson. So he's not getting the usual number of possessions. He regularly gets up into the 30s, Simpson, when he plays on a wing.
Gibbs and Murphy over the top. An opportunity for Ross to come away for the Saints. Down towards Stanley. He's got some pace. The ball sits nicely for him. Can he sneak away from Rowe? He does. And flicks it round now. What on earth was he looking at then?
So he did everything right until the ball left his boot.
Correct. Everett short to Doherty.
Everett's had 9 kicks in the first quarter, Sandy.
Yaron, he's been busy. Thinks about Curnow.
He's been the best man on the ground. Everett. His run from half-back's been exceptional. Delivered the ball well. He's kicking it 100% from those 9 kicks.
Yaron goes over the head of White. Henderson gets claim. He's able to get the hand pass away over to Thomas. They go inboard now to Curnow. Curnow decides to backpedal just a little towards Rowe. Back to Thomas again. He's claimed. Ripped to the ground by Savage. Gwilt, short passes horrendously. And it's taken by Rowe, and they're out of trouble once again. Doherty on the outer side. He's got players streaming wide. Carazzo is one of those. Couldn't complete the mark. Dennis Lane in for his first game of the season. And the ball finishes eventually over the line, a throw-in. With under 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter, and it's been a big one for the Blues.
Gee, the Saints are missing Lenny Hayes too, aren't they?
Yep. Groin didn't come up, sadly.
Ball hooked back into play. Longer over the top. Brings it to ground. Good fierce competition from Armitage, as you'd expect, but it's Doherty. Gibbs is being tagged by Weller, but he gets the clearing kick to the wing, and Menzel in red-hot form as well. Takes the mark. His 6th disposal coming up. Inside 50 count is 15-7. As the Blues shuffle it around in defence. Simpson back to Jamison. Can use Everett. Yes. His 7th mark. 10th kick coming up. And he's got enough on it to allow Tui to go up and take a good firm grab.
When you look, Carlton's going at 83% by foot, which is a massive, massive win for them. But it's this one here. It's forward of centre where they're up at 78% themselves. Effectiveness to St Kilda's 58. So that's where they're dominating the game so far with their use of the ball forward of centre.
Alan Richardson,
there. Sorry, go.
Alan Richardson will be really disappointed with the defence of these forwards. They spoke about the switching in defence for pre-game. He didn't want that to happen. That's where the Blues set up. He'd be really disappointed with that.
Well, he wouldn't be all that pleased with that effort either, as McLean screws it back and puts it through. Does it make you want to coach, Hawley?
Negative.
47-8, the marks in the first term. They'll have a record number of marks here today. Carlton.
Savage will bring it back. Will he go down the middle again?
16-7, the inside 50s as well.
Statistically, it's a sorry tale at the moment. And it's a floating punt, not a very pretty one by Savage towards Shenton. Thought about Minchington, but I think they both got caught in 2 minds, and eventually it's taken over the line.
Gee, they're rattled, aren't they, the Saints at the moment?
38 plays 12 in the dying seconds of this first quarter. Warnock. Warnock a height advantage to Carazzo. Inside 50 once more. Menzel is a flyer. And there's a hands in the back. St Kilda, you can hear the umpire.
Lee Montagna without a possession yet, boys.
He's trying to follow Mark Murphy around.
Delaney to Nunes.
I think Curnow's going to him, and he's trying to
Murphy,
so he ends up getting lost in all that.
Nunes in towards Billings, who plucks it out of the air nicely. He's one of the exciting youngsters, Jack Billings of the St Kilda outfit. There's plenty in there. Disposal letting them down once again, though. Straight onto the chest of Rowe. And that will be all she wrote for the first quarter. As Rick Malthouse having a chat with Chris Judd. Dean Laidley also there as they head out. A big first quarter by the Blues, 6 goals, 2. Simon White is the only multiple scorer. He's kicked as many goals in that quarter as he has in his entire career. 6-2, plays 2 straight from the Saints. On the other hand, Alan Richardson, Jason, how does he encourage that young group after a quarter like that?
Yeah, things have gone horribly wrong. I mean, you start with all those plans and structures that you've laid down and you've practiced during the week, then it seems to all go out the window when you've got a young team. You've got to reinforce the message. You've got to get them to forget about that first quarter and say, hey, focus. We didn't commit to what we said we would do. We've got to do it a hell of a lot better. Let's just start from scratch again and make sure we hit our targets. Make sure we do the things that we said we were going to do in this second quarter.
The Blues, on the other hand, as they try and stop that losing streak, have got a very tough road ahead. Sydney, North, Fremantle and Suns to come. They desperately want to win this one. Second quarter about to get underway. Here's Anthony Hudson.
Nick Riewoldt starting on the wing there, an unfamiliar starting post for he.
And Yaron starts at half back this quarter
Jamison
after
doesn't
playing
know what
forward.
to do at the moment. Do I go up? Do I stay back?
Well, second quarter is underway. You better sort it out now because we're into it. And there's Warnock trying to guide it down. Carazzo's getting plenty of the footy. Swing and a miss from 2 Blues. The second one, Tui. And now Riewoldt, as a wingman, comes off the line. Almost out of possession. The Saints controlling it, but going backwards. Weller has to change that up. Driving ball for Armitage. And he takes the mark at half-back and wants to move it on to Riewoldt. So it could be a bit of a Matthew Richardson type role.
Yeah, and I don't think it's suited to Michael Jamison,
No.
so he'll look to swap that role with someone else.
Armitage chipped it up for Dennis Lane, and that hurt Mark Murphy, but he's able to get up quickly and move it before he gets down on his haunches and tries to work out how sore he is. 6 intercept marks to the Blues. That was another, and that's another example of St Kilda's poor kicking into their 50. Now Warnock, was he held onto by longer? He's certainly taken him forward, hasn't he, Warnock? We've seen that happen time and time again.
Now, Andreas Everett is starting on Trent Dennis Lane at half-back. And then as soon as it's out of the contest, Dennis Lane is either going to his spot in the zone or whatever he's doing. He's got to start paying a little bit of attention to Everett.
Fell for Weller. Armitage didn't like what was on offer. Here's the dashing defender, Riewoldt. Goes short down the line.
The thing about Riewoldt, it's an understanding of the whole team structures. He's playing as a wing. He goes back to that stoppage then, plays the perfect role, the wing role, gets in behind, and then is used as the release. So that's just part of the knowledge of knowing exactly what your team expects in certain positions.
Minchington kicks down towards centre wing, only to see it marked by Jamison. He's backpedaled a little to Yaron. So the Blues patiently to set up again over the head of Jamison to Judd.
Carlton have got an extra man in their forward 50 at the moment, which is most unusual.
Last time these two sides met, Bryce Gibbs had 38 disposals, but he's been a little quieter today. Wilt provides a shepherd to leave a path for Riewoldt. He goes to Shenton on the outer side. Jack Billings calls for it now. Shenton in trouble, loses the footy. Billings had turned his back, and his immediate opponent says, "Thank you very much, I'm away to Walker." And away he goes. Walker's still a long way from home, but he goes long, inside 50. Everett's the fly. Boy, is he having a game.
Well, he's doing what he likes at the moment, Andreas Everett, but Shenton needs to understand just to keep things simple at times and not to try to take too much on, because he had a player inboard. He just had to kick it out to Billings and let him run on.
Billings was on the lead, 5 metres clear.
Get it out there.
So Everett for his second.
He's having a ball out there,
Isn't he?
Clearly best man on the ground.
30 out directly in front. Went close, but he got it. It was close, but he's there. Don't worry. 2 to Andreas Everett, and Carlton continue on their merry way with 7 on the board.
Well, he's done a lot of run with rolls this year, Andreas Everett, but he's been given a little more freedom today, Jono, just starting at half-back. He's drifting forward when he gets the chance. He's being used out of defence on more often than not. He's found a couple of runs through the corridor and he's used the ball well. He's kicking 12 kicks from his 13 possessions at 100%, including 2 goals. Not a bad way to start the game, is it?
That's a great way, and a couple of those have been pretty tough as well to execute. So the confidence is high for Andreas Everett, and St Kilda need to respond to this now because his dominance in the game has been very significant.
Most marks ever in a game, incidentally, is 181 in that keepings off game by Richmond against Adelaide in 2006.
Chance to beat that.
Blues are already up to 56 marks. They've got it in there quickly again. Oh, almost Henderson. Yaron was flying hard, running towards goal. Enough to scare any defence. Dunstan. Delay. And then he had to handball. Got out of it, but the Blues are going to win it back through Tui. Calls for reinforcements. Walker puts the foot down, keeps them chasing, hooks it up towards full forward. Oh, White got shoved out of it. No free kick. Dempster under siege here, the Saints defence. Curnow, it opened up for him. Gibbs handballs to Chris Judd. Judd powering onto the pocket. He's done that before. Chris Judd puts it through. His first, Carlton's 8th. And this is a Blues domination here at Etihad Stadium.
It's been a good battle. Chris Judd and David Armitage for much of the match thus far have gone head-to-head. Armitage getting plenty of it. It's had 10 possessions. That was Judd's 7th, but now he's got the all-important goal on board. Poor tackle there from Savage. He needed to stick that one on Curnow. As soon as Curnow got out, he had numbers outside him. And you're not going to catch Chris Judd, even in the twilight of his career. When he gets goal side of you, good night.
Good handball from Bryce Gibbs as well, just to put it out in the space. He got the right bounce, Judd, which then he was able to hit it with speed, and good luck. Not going to catch him, but it was the handball that allowed him to release.
In round 8, Carlton beat St Kilda by 32 points. They already trail by 38.
And we've got a loose in defence for the Saints, so Richardson's thought enough's enough. We've got to get an extra behind the ball, but it's not making much difference at the moment.
Here comes Murphy. Warnock getting it down to him towards Menzel.
Great kick, wasn't it?
Best I've seen Carlton use the ball all year. And that's pleasing for more watching because their effect going forward. And you just see here, they did the line out straight down the middle. It allows them to go either way out of a centre bounce, whichever way Warnock decides to tap the ball and set it up with his midfielders. Great vision there from behind the goals to see the execution from Murphy with just an elite kick inside forward 50.
Goes through this routine of tossing the ball up. He's got a long run up to eventually get anywhere near the man on the mark. Kicking for his second, the young man who came across from Central Districts. He makes no mistake, and they could finish up with a cricket score here. Menzel gets his second, and the Blue Baggers get their 9th. 9-2-56. The Saints stuck on 2 straight goals.
Well, we know they're in a rebuilding phase, the Saints. They've got a long way to go, Jono, but the one thing you can't afford in these early stages is to get belted by the teams that are around you. I mean, Carlton have only had 4 wins for the season, St Kilda 3, but this looks very, very dark very early.
Yeah, it's not great signs, and that's the thing from last week when they played Richmond. Their intensity and effort was excellent for pretty much 4 quarters. The Saints, they're just beaten in the end by a little bit of class. Today, they're being beaten by class, but also their effort and intensity just hasn't been at the same level that we saw last week.
There's the bounce, and Longer got the last hands to it. Free kick goes to the man in his 100th. Comes away with it. Gives them a bit of an opportunity. Billings outsized there and outnumbered. Walker with a dramatic spoil. Weller hit the pack hard. May have been held on to just momentarily. Everett decides to handball for something different. Now,
they're out here if he sees McLean out wide.
Well, he's seen him now. It took a little while, and McLean does take the mark. He can use Murphy, or else pop it over to Walker, who kept on coming. So plenty of resources at hand. Heavy stuff on Tanya, who goes down. Flick back in.
He's got all the numbers, Carlton, because they're working a lot harder.
Might as well release Montagna now. He hasn't touched the ball yet.
Look at Casbolt's on his own.
Curnow, Casbolt.
Oh, and he followed through on the tackle. That is poor. That is poor. Deserves more than that because look, there's high contact initially and he follows right through with it. That's dangerous.
He's a big man too, Levo Casbolt.
Understandably, good to see a few of the St Kilda teammates get in there and remonstrate.
Dempster back to Savage. Uncertainty written all over his face, but a good kick. Oh, it was too hot for Minchin.
Was a good kick.
Gibbs to Thomas. Grubs it into the 50. Savage again under siege, this St Kilda defence. Good hand movement this time, though, and then Armitage with a Matt Suckling-style kick brings it back into the middle. Ross controls it to Schneider. The margin remains at 44 points.
Schneider,
Good kick.
popping it out in front of Ray. Onto his left boot, coming back into the side. Nice to see him back this week. Just bounces over the head of Riewoldt, and Rose sees it over.
I'm not sure he's enjoying the delivery at the moment, Nick Riewoldt. I'm not sure anyone would as a St Kilda forward at the moment.
I'm sure he's not.
Do you stick with Montagna running around
With Murphy.
with Murphy? He's off at the moment having a spell, Montagna, but they need to release him onto a wing, allow him to run and create.
Walker somehow gets through some very heavy traffic. Now they'll go back towards White and Shenton on centre wing. Dempster comes over the top, takes a good mark.
Well, maybe it is time to give Jack Stephen a job, because Carazzo's following him and he's not having any impact at all.
Chance now for Ross.
Holding, back here.
Going to be down ground. It is for Holding.
You're holding him, Andrew. You're holding him around the waist and then grab his jumper.
You can hear him say, "You're holding him, Andrew.
Yep.
You're holding him around the waist, and then you grabbed his
For
jumper."
holding. You grab your arms around his waist. Time back on. Yep.
So Jack Bellings, a chance to kick the Saints third. Playing just game number 12.
Good there.
Directly in front, kicking from 45. This young left footer takes it away to the right fairly severely.
See what he does do? He waves that ball around in the hands as he's coming in.
So just the behind, and they'll get out of. Well, Dennis Lane's going to have a shot here.
I don't reckon Cade Simpson does that too often.
No, normally he's very good.
Just put the hand straight to the head after it left the boot.
At your angle. Don't come round.
First game for the year for Dennis Lane in the seniors.
You can cover the short one out. Yeah, here. I'm at the goal square. Yeah, got it.
27 overall. 35 out. Fairly tight angle. Finds the woodwork.
Good effort. Good
Yeah,
effort.
It was a good effort.
And look, they don't need to panic St Kilda. You're 7 goals down, so you sit there and you say, we've just got to chip away at that. It's a couple of goals a quarter we've got to beat the opposition by. It's not that much when you reduce it to that sort of equation, but they've got to take their opportunities when they get them.
Jamison headed into the back pocket. He's going to drive it down the line. Daisy Thomas, Simon White, the two most likely for the Blues. Robertson left it all behind. Montagna on the merry-go-round, but he was able to control it for Gwilt over the head of Ray. Back onto it, Casbolt versus Weller. Billings had a crack at it. Dunstan likewise. He had the moves, gets it to Robertson, and now Armitage with a steadying kick.
Hold his jumper.
Going to go to Riewoldt directly in front, is it?
Oh, they're red hot at the moment, the umpires down there.
Well, the Saints will take a goal any way they can get it. He's just shaking the head, Michael Jamison.
I'm watching from holding the man. All the rules. Thanks, mate. Stay up.
So Nick Riewoldt for his second goal.
Good explanation for that, bro. I'm watching for holding the man. All the rules. All the rules, he said.
Good.
As I mentioned earlier, just kicked 1 goal in each of his last 3 weeks. Kicked 4 against the Blues in round 8 and has 2 out of 3 so far. Thank goodness for that. A St Kilda goal.
Well, Hutto, it comes on the back of some repeat entries for St Kilda, which is what they required. Simpson had a poor kick out. Dennis Lane gets that back. There's a free kick, top of screen. We'll keep an eye on that now. Riewoldt trying to lead off. Jamison just grabbing the jumper. That's what caught the attention of the umpire. Great vision here from the goalpost.
Doesn't look that bad, does it?
No, not significant, but it's what the umpire saw. He's made the call.
Yep.
So Riewoldt goes back.
I agree, John. It's important if the umpire sees something, you just pay it. Now, Nick Riewoldt would argue he's been held a lot worse than that and probably should have received a lot more. You take them when you get them, because there's plenty that go missed.
50 goals to Riewoldt last year, so far 36. Here's Montagna for his first touch. Up towards the forward line, Longer and Riewoldt outgunned on that occasion.
You just don't expect Lee Montagna to pick out the loose defender like that.
A chance now for Gibbs. Pops it over the top. Simpson in trouble. Carazzo away from Montagna. Up towards centre wing. A couple almost called out there. Stanley was furious. The door opens for Curnow. Here's trouble now. White, long way from home. Henderson's at the back, and he drops it. He recovers. He's got to get up. He's got to beat a couple. Nunes is first to it. Nunes gets away from Henderson, and the Saints are going to get out of strife once again. Jackie Stephen is away. Up towards centre wing. Shenton is a target, and the mark is taken there by Dunstan. Dunstan plays on quickly. Rewald.
Right, I love it. I love it, because all they did was move it quickly to get Rewalt one out and give him a chance.
Plays on. Schneider. Goal. Saints have got a couple back. And that's what you're saying, Jason. If they can just get 2 or 3 back per quarter.
It's the repeat entries as well, Sandy, that have really been positive in the last 5 minutes of play for St Kilda. Starting to get a number of inside 50s to really work in their favour. It's speed of ball movement, which has been a real positive. But early in this quarter, it was 6-zip inside 50s. They've been able to get that back now to 8-6. So the last 5 minutes of play, they've been able to control the Saints.
Like Dunstan playing on quickly, just throwing it on the boot, getting it down quickly to Revolt, 1-on-1.
Yes, a real change has come over this game in the last few minutes. Can the Saints capitalise and get right back into the contest? 5-goal ball game right now. It looked like Carlton were careering away, but that may well have changed. Murphy was besieged, and it's picked up by Stanley. High ball again there. Long is coming out to take it. And tumbled into it.
Yes.
And maybe a little sore. Had to pull the sock up, but he's all right.
He's got the shin guards in there, Hutto, so he just had to straighten them up as well. That was a big grab from Longer. Showed some genuine speed to get their high ball coming in from Stanley.
Handball off.
He'd only kicked 1 goal in AFL footy before then, Billy Longer. And Snyder hits the post.
See, that would have been massive momentum for St Kilda. Back-to-back, get it back to just 4 goals, and they're right in the contest again.
Hit the post twice now in this quarter. Dennis Lane as well. They're letting Snyder go, though. He kicked the easy goal before with Rewalt running inside forward 50.
Walker down the line has Casbolt in his sights, and he'll mark. He's got a very strong grip, has Levi Casbolt. Henderson is the likely target down the line. Got to contend with 2 Saints, and the second one was too much for him. It was Armitage.
So the Centurion has it at half back. We'll go down the line. Short to Robertson.
Right there.
Another one to come into the side this week. Going inboard to Rewalt. He might just chip into the middle. He does. So slowly does it at the moment. He combines with Dunstan. Now they're out of it. Up towards the half forward. And Stanley again.
Distance won't be a problem, Sandy. We saw that in the first quarter. He launched a big one from about 53 metres.
Got his instructions too there from Nick Rewalt to go back and have the shot.
9 goals for to Stanley for the year so far. And 1 already today. The big bomb that Jono was talking about. Well, he's going to have to kick it from 50 metres. He's directly in front, so that will help him. This for the Saints' 5th. Kicks from 53. It's a big bomb again. It is a big bomb. And the Saints are coming back. Stanley gets his 2nd. 3 quick goals to the Saints, exactly what they needed.
It's really pleasing to see them fighting back like this, isn't it? And all of a sudden they've got themselves in the contest. Extremely important. One of the issues they have had this year, though, St Kilda, is the spread of goal kickers. There's no spread. So they've really got a couple from Rewalt, a couple from Stanley, and 1 from Schneider. But they're often only getting 6 goal kickers a week. Got to try and get that into double figures. They've got to share the load, have more options. Getting more of the uncontested footy down there, Baz, now, the Saints.
Yeah, they are. It was plus 34 in the first quarter for Carlton. They've turned that right around. St Kilda plus 13 in this second quarter. So they're a lot better defensively, but they're starting to actually run themselves.
Indeed. Here's Henderson up to meet it for the Blues, who need to provide some resilience of their own right now. What would you suggest would be on Mick Malthouse's mind, Jace?
Oh, I think he'd be upset that they've lost a handle on this, because it was one-way traffic. And all of a sudden, St Kilda's been able to get themselves back in the contest, and maybe just they've lifted, Carlton's dropped off the work rate a touch.
Great tackling from Murphy. Went unrewarded as termed a free kick, but the ball back into hot dispute now.
But at quarter time, Hutto, we were all thinking blowout.
Yep.
Right now we're thinking, hang on a minute, 3 goals, game on.
Dunstan, some heavy work again, was terrific out of the pack, and the escape is clean. Stephen inboard, Dennis Lane, lovely spinning move, opens up all sorts of options, pops it for Revolt, tough to mark in there. Jamison goes back, Stanley, now things really starting to warm up, he's able to feed it out, Billings, back into the middle again, Revolt the target. Jamison, and just a quick whisper just to slow it down. Out to Everett. He's had a much quieter second to
It's
it.
what the Saints have done better in the last probably 5 to 10 minutes. Block the exit where in the first quarter and a half, Carlton were able to go back and then out and then just keep switching it, find the loose player on the ground. But Saints have worked well and responded to some instruction from Alan Richardson at quarter time.
Walker on a long search. Carazzo in an unusual position, having to defend in the air. And young Billings shows his marking prowess for a small man.
He's got a strong leg on him.
Needed to get back quickly. He had Reece Stanley briefly in the corridor, but they need to make something out of this. He's a long kick, Savage.
He is, and 51 metres, not a problem distance-wise or accuracy. Look at that. Shaped back beautifully for his first goal. Just his second in the St Kilda Guernsey. His first of the afternoon, and suddenly we're at 17 points.
They've set that up well outside 50 a couple of times now in this quarter, giving the handball to the player that can respond with a big kick from outside 50. Savage, Snyder's hit the post doing a similar thing on the left-hand side, which favours his leg. So maybe a set play from the Saints. We've already seen one from a kick out. Maybe they've got a set as well for a player that marks it from 55 out.
Wayne Johnson just got caught napping. You've got to know your opposition. You've got a bloke that's not the longest kick in the game, and then you've got Shane Savage, who is a long kick lurking. You've got to stand corridor side of him. If he takes it on the boundary line, well, you're happy to concede that, but you can't lose it the other way going inboard.
Worth remembering that Carlton kicked the first 3 goals in this second term, and we thought this is going to be a blowout. Saints have hit back with the last 4. Judd out of the middle. Can the Blues reply? The race is on, and Shenton leads in that race. Gets a kind bounce. Can he sneak away? Almost. He did get the hand pass away, goes towards the boundary line. It's going to be kept in play, and the Blues are going to bring it back once again towards Thomas and Co. down in the forward line. No mark, although it's been claimed. It's not going to be paid.
Yeah, look at Simon White. He was holding front spot. Dempster all over him, and the Blues fans not happy either.
They're saying he got the bear hug.
So deep in Carlton's attacking zone. Warnock, but it was little Schneider underneath him. And now there's been a whistle, and it's going to go the way of Armitage. Says, settle down, boys. Just settle down.
Possession number 15 for Armitage in game number 100 equals the efforts of Everett and Walker, who also had 15 for the Blues.
Schneider to Rewalt. Rewalt tucked on that half-back line at the moment as players stream down the ground. He may go laterally. Ignores Gwilt and goes to Roberton on the last line of defence. Roberton,
good option.
Straight down the ground. That's good to Armitage, and he's away. Bouncing his way across half-back. He kicks over the middle now. Dennis Lane stays down. Stanley was a flyer. Dennis Lane at the back may get a chance. He's got to beat a couple. He tries to poke it over the top, but the Navy Blues are there in the form of Murphy. Murphy sneaks it back inboard. They're going to get out of strife here. They got numbers, and it's Johnson's hand pass that's okay to Tui. Tui now has the luxury of one bounce. Goes down the line. Casbolt was a fly, but he couldn't take the mark. Daisy is there. He gives it to Yaron. Yaron goes steaming in, and suddenly St Kilda's run has come to an end. Yaron gets his second. The Blues steady.
Jono, can you tell me about James Gwilt's spoil there, please?
Yeah, look, he's an experienced defender, and look, he'll know himself, and I don't think Alan Richardson will need to send the runner out on the back of that effort. He's looking at it now on the big scoreboard, drops his arms because he is disappointed on the back. He needs to kill that right there, and didn't do it. Ball over the back when he's got the free jump at the ball, and the result there with Yaron just strolling into an easy goal.
Just had to crash it, take the ball with him. Should have been a big punch to the boundary, over the back. He'll be disappointed.
Four and a half to go. in this second term. It's been a frantic one.
They needed that, the Blues.
They
Hutto.
did,
They did.
absolutely. And now Ray trying to set something up via Gwilt. Saints surging again. Little Minchington going to be hunted down by Tui. He's got the toe though to keep going.
He's being held, absolutely. He showed good speed because Tui is not slow. Couldn't reel him in.
And he's got a spare on here, and that is Jack Billings.
Right, needs a good kick.
Starting to find some space in this game, Jack Billings.
Yep.
We saw Minchington last week, Jason, and he just added some real spark and bite in the forward line, kicked a couple of goals.
They need that sort of player, someone that brings a different mix, a different option to the forward line.
So Billings, 11 goals, 11. And he's 11 games up until this occasion. Comes in and never really gave it a decent shot, did he?
Couple of posters, we've got that one there that's missed. They could be right in this, the Saints.
Cade Simpson at fullback.
Blues flooding to one side here.
Henderson and White. And Delaney with the decisive blow over the top. Now Tui. Been a bit concerned as he worked back to the boundary line. Murphy got a little handball into Johnson. Hurried stuff from Tui. Was caught high. Umpire didn't spot it. Really, that was a bad overlook because it's cost the Blues. Delaney, Montagna up to half forward. Brilliant kick and excellent mark at pace from Snyder. And look at the Saints, they almost spoiled each other there. But Minchington.
You love the ball. You love the ball in Snyder's hands. He's just got great composure, control of the footy. And you just see there, took his time, knew exactly what he had to do, and put the ball back into a dangerous spot for Minchington to have a shot.
Get it back to 16 points. This would be massive for the Saints. If they can go into halftime inside of 3 goals, huge win.
So Minchington comes in, kicked 2 goals last week, and he's put that through. And the Saints really are coming.
Game on, Jace. They've been able to turn around everything in terms of the stats that Baz was speaking about at quarter time when they were down. Uncontested possession, contested possession, clearances. Everything's just gone back in their favour. They're using the ball so much better as well. The Saints up by 20% in that area by foot compared first quarter to second quarter. So just a significant improvement right across the board, and they're running the ball better as well, Hutto.
14 entries this quarter for 9 scoring shots.
Yeah, it's very efficient.
5 goals to 4 this quarter in favour of the Saints. A couple of minutes remaining in the half. If they could just find another one, we're in for a big second half here at Etihad. Gibbs and McLean try to gang tackle, all to no avail. Down towards Stanley and Covert, chopped off by Yaron. Now he's got Thomas calling for it laterally, and that's who he finds. Daisy is tucked in the back pocket. Kicks towards Everett, who's been a little quieter this quarter than a tremendous first quarter. It's going to go back from whence it came to Rowe.
Yeah, Baz, Carlton subs just come on. Is there an injury issue down there? Do you know that you know of?
I'll keep you posted, Hutto. I'll just have a quick look for you.
Looks like Carazzo.
Yeah.
Yaron goes to Simpson. Now Yaron kept on running, but he's ignored this time, and it's taken to Henderson. Henderson goes long. They put it inside 50. Big pack of players. Need someone waiting down in Menzel. He gets caught, not before he tries to get it away towards Gibbs, who's taken over the line cruelly.
He ducked.
And he didn't like it, and they're still going at it.
Well, if he ducked, why isn't it holding the ball?
Isn't that prior
Prior opportunity, exactly right. I thought they were unlucky too because Gibbs just dropped the ball cold when he was tackled. So they're coming to Saints, and it's good to see a bit of spirit, a bit of aggression from them.
From the ball up, Thomas on Armitage was at a high tackle.
I thought he did it well, Thomas.
Yeah, I thought that should have been play on as well because he was leading with his head, Armitage, and Thomas didn't go in hard at it.
Well, he plays on to Montagna, who goes to Shenton, who's basically at fullback, just pops it over the top. Little 9-iron to Gwilt. Not a lot on offer for Gwilt.
No one's positioned down the line deep. That's the problem. You've got Rewald who's let up. He had absolutely nowhere to go.
This is heart in your mouth stuff.
And a really good kick in the end.
Yeah, Armitage.
Made it up as he went there, Will.
Billings. Jacks away. One bounce. Goes with the left foot in towards Minchington, who's got some toe. Just chips it beautifully. Well done to Dennis Lane.
Tell you what,
Boy, if he kicks this with 36 seconds remaining on the clock.
the Minchington lead was excellent. Should have been a better kick to him, but he gathered the loose ball and then delivered.
That's what you're talking about last week, Sandy. It was the impact like this by footy. Hit the forwards up, got on the scoreboard. He's very, very good forward of centre.
So, a frustrating quarter for Mick Malthouse and Carlton. Can he cap it off, Trent Dennis Lane, with his first goal for the season? Once again, one of those players with a long, stammering run-up. It's a good kick on the siren, but just away to the right.
That is poor.
That is disappointing after a wonderful fight back. Just unable to put that last little piece of icing on the cake. But they are coming back, and we have got a contest. That is the good news. Carlton kicked 4 straight in that quarter. They've moved to 10-2, 62. St Kilda, after kicking just a couple of goals in the first term, kicked 5 goals, 5. They are 7-5, 47, and they are right back in this game.
Bell played the first 3 games this year and a couple of other individual games for just 5 so far this season, so he will enjoy an opportunity. Saints were finishing very hard. They were able to string 4 consecutive goals together before Carlton were able to stop that, and then St Kilda kicked another and could have kicked another on the siren. So they were really finishing with a run, the Saints. Let's see which way the momentum goes at the start of the third. Warnock gives his forwards every opportunity. It was a high ball, and here is Tom Bell. He's charging towards goal, and he just couldn't get the boot on the angle. Back enough to score a major.
Yaron's gone to Jack Billings, and Billings trying to take him as deep as he possibly can. Played up forward to start this game. Yaron got on the scoreboard. Now they're using him defensively. Got that run with him and Walker back.
Savage to himself and then towards Billy Longer, but it's Warnock who defends, just pokes it down to Gibbs. Gibbs a centering ball. Thomas is going to have to fly. He does, but he couldn't pull it in against Shenton. Judge pops it over the top looking for Menzel, doesn't find him. Saints under the pump at the moment, but the Weller hand pass is okay. They should get out of trouble. Back towards Rewalt and Jamison. Jamison first to swing round, needs a kind bounce. On his hammer was Nunes. Jamison persisted, tried to get the hand pass away. Stanley almost gave away a free kick to Murphy. Here's Rowe, round the body he goes. Judd gets a hand to it. Murphy has recovered. Now he gets claimed, so he gives it back to Juddy. Judd in 2 minds, eventually wobbles it up towards the forward line. There was plenty of jumper pulling there, as you could hear Jason say on Henderson. No free kick.
You see the jumper stretched away from his body. Delaney had a good handful of it, but Henderson just jogs back to position.
Warnock gets front spot. He does have a height advantage. Murphy tucked on the boundary line. He's able to pull it back well, though, towards Henderson and co once again. Thomas has got to get his skates on. Daisy's still going. Now he goes to ground, wants a free kick, but won't get it. It's close to being dragged over the line for a minor score. He'll have a ball up.
I reckon he flopped a little bit easily there. Daisy Thomas looking for a free kick. You just saw him a bit disappointed with himself after that. Should have picked it up.
Longer couldn't take it. Warnock, big man, goes to ground as well. Eventually shoveled over, 4-1 behind.
Let's go, clear it out!
Opening 2 scores for the Blues in this term, both behinds.
You love them to play their set play again, the Saints. Just straight after half-time here. They're not going to do it. The one we saw at the start of the game where they tried to get Shenton out the back with a quick play. You'd like to see them try it once more in this game, see if they can catch Carlton off guard.
Nunes. Nothing down the line, so he's on a bit of a mission now, looking through the middle, but he changed his mind very quickly.
Oh, Mark, thank you.
Weller has the footy, just outside defensive 50, playing the tagging role on Bryce Gibbs.
Play on.
He's bouncing the ball at the moment. Through the back pocket, hesitating some more. So Blues have done well to cover the exits, and the kick just went gently to Rowe, who can feed Gibbs. Took a long time to decide when to release it, and Casbolt's got a free. So a hold in front of goal against Shenton.
Real confusion between Weller and Riewoldt, talking about where the kick was going to go. Nick Riewoldt was pointing, standing still, directing traffic, and Weller kicked it to him, and Rowe just led, took the mark, kicked it forward.
50 metres. Give me 50 metres. Just give it away 50. Leave it there, all right? 50 metres.
It's against Jack Stevens, by the way.
Well, that will be very good news to Levi Casbolt.
Yes.
The closer the goal he gets, the better.
50 metres. You grab him and drag him to ground, all right? Can we just leave it, all right? Thanks, boys.
Yeah, he hasn't finished yet. Jack, and now Snyder's coming in to assist him.
Tell you what, he's lucky, Snyder.
Carry on now.
He dragged him to ground as well, all right? Just walk away, Mark. Mark, you didn't have to come in and do it.
Yeah, I like that from the umpire. I like that.
He's actually lucky that that goal hadn't been kicked already, or they might have had another double.
Right, but I like the fact that the umpire then had to go at the players. You don't need to come in. Get out of his face.
Gee.
So, Carlton get the first in the second half. And once again, stretch the lead courtesy of Mr. Casbolt.
Thanks, boys. Wait for it. Don't give it away.
23 points is the margin. Warnock got a hand to it. McLean round the body with a high ball. The runners are away. Nunes traps it, gives it off towards Gwilt. Gwilt to the outer side. It was a poor kick. He wanted Riewoldt, but it's going to be turned over, and Jamieson says thank you very much as he tumbles a punt towards Menzel, who flicks it out the back to accommodate Henderson. He almost falls over his own feet. He needs assistance, and he gets it. It's left the Bell maybe at the back. No, he couldn't take it. Goes again. Bell picks it up now. Gives it to Doherty. Doherty gives it away to Everett. Everett backpedals to Tui. They've got it outside 50 for the moment. Walker's in all sorts of trouble. Hand pass straight up in the air. Billy Longer says, get out of my way. I'm coming through to Montagna. And they do. Down towards the half-back line once again. Billings left it. Mitchington picks it up. Kicks up towards Stanley on centre wing, and he takes the mark.
You lead at him every time. You lead at him hard, Mitchington. He rarely misses.
Riewoldt wants it. He's working really hard.
Oh, and again.
And that's a disappointing kick. He would be frustrated.
They're back to their first quarter kicking skills again, the Saints, and that's what let them down in that quarter. Second quarter, they got it right, back up to near 80%.
Murphy to Walker. They're running now. Here goes the running machine in Yaron. Yaron's hand pass is okay. Everett, you're gone. But he gets it away to Bell. Bell flicks it round the body and kicks a goal. Tommy Bell gets his first since coming on as the sub. They made relatively hard work of it for a while, but they got there.
Look at the kick from Stanley. I mean, Nick Riewoldt's 5 metres clear on the lead, kicks it over his head directly to the opposition. You can understand why Alan Richardson gets frustrated. And here's what happens when you turn it over.
Frustration builds as well, and we see Andreas Everett taking his time, but Bell able to clean things up. Great snap around the body, but the last 3 kicks to Nick Riewoldt have all been direct turnovers to Carlton.
Nowhere near him, the kicks, have they?
Nowhere near him. Spot on, Hutto.
Yeah, the Gwilt one a moment ago on the other side.
On the other side, one out here earlier.
Nearly cost a goal.
Yep.
The game has held it up a little bit. There's just been a little niggle or two that's starting to boil over. Saints need to stop butchering the ball, and they'd still be right in the contest. Thomas comes hard off the square to shut down Jack Stevens.
Thanks, boys.
Margin 29, 12-4 Carlton. They're very accurate. Rowe on Riewoldt at the moment. They're about 25 metres out from St Kilda's goal. Footy back in the centre, as you can see. Judd just hurled it out. Some more ground gain for Carlton. Coming through McLean. He's totally swamped.
Thanks, boys. Straight up.
11 disposals for Brock McLean.
Farron Ray looks like he's running with Chris Judd now.
Come this way.
And Kernow has gone on to Jack Stevens.
Free kick to Warnock against Longer. In a heartbeat, it's off to Bell. There's interesting disposal out wide as Blaine Johnson getting a very nice bounce. Thank you very much. Simpson on his left. In his sights, Tui.
Right there.
Now the big tall Blues hold in the square. Henderson, he might be kicking to Menzel on the lead. Well, it didn't go to anyone really. Ray couldn't complete the mark. Now Gwilt's got an issue. He's going to have to show the umpire something here. He's not showing him anything. He's cooked.
There's 2 players for St Kilda that need to lift their game. 2 players in particular. Lee Montagna's one, and James Goulder's the other one. And they're the senior players for the Saints. And the way that he's used the ball this afternoon hasn't been great. He's missed targets on a regular basis. had a chance to kill the ball at one stage, didn't do it. So he needs to lift his rating along with Montagna, 2 senior players.
It was a quality tackle from Lockie Henderson.
His arms were locked away, weren't they? There wasn't a chance to move. So Lockie Henderson, he's starting to find some marking form. He's kicked 1 goal so far. Well might he shake his head.
Well, they're right on the verge once again, as we saw first quarter, early second quarter, of putting the Saints away. The Saints responded. They need to do that again now. Here's the set play.
Here it is.
Here it is again.
It's Shenton.
Except
Well past him, and it's going to be Judd who'll pick it up on the half volley. Couldn't quite, but he recovers well. Flicks it in towards half forward, and they're going to get another chance, courtesy of Henderson.
well, that time the Blues were onto it, and they closed it further afield. This time, Savage erred on the longer side of the kick, but that's where the Carlton players were.
I think the way St Kilda set up that time as well wasn't as effective as what they did in the first one in the first point of the game that the Blues kicked. They just had players still just hanging around areas rather than getting completely out of the way.
Thanks, boys.
So Henderson with another chance. A chance to make amends for that last shot. Directly in front. He lumbers in and floats it straight through the middle for his second. And the Blues second for this quarter. They continue on their merry way. In fact, third, 13-5, now 83. Drifting right away from the Saints, still locked on 7-5.
It's Sam Rowe coming in from one side, Judd from the other. They were close enough to cut off the kick that went over the top in the middle. And so that's good play from Carlton because they learnt. They saw it happen in the first term. They were aware. They saw the similar sort of setup. It was the same 2 players. Savage kicking out. Shenton was the one that they looked for. Didn't work on that occasion.
Lockie Henderson, multiple goal kicker. Yaron's kicked 2 as well. Menzel's kicked 2. Everett's kicked 2. Simon White's kicked 2. So plenty getting a couple of cracks at it for the Blues to make up their 13 goals. Ray ran straight into trouble. Johnson popped up brilliantly. Kicked it deep again. White to the front. Dempster with great urgency, but he's given away the free.
Yeah, he was held back, Simon White. He was just desperate to get front spot. Nothing Dempster could do to prevent him, so he grabbed on. And they're surging, the Blues.
That was it.
There's a little bit more before that as well.
Simon White venturing into new territory here. He's kicked 2 goals. He only had 2 for his whole career until today. Puts that right through the middle. That's 4 in a row to the Blues, and the margin is out to 42 points. And you wouldn't want to be Nick Riewoldt today.
No, there's been delivery to the Carlton forwards. This is what Nick Riewoldt's had to put up with as far as delivery goes, whether it's be by foot or by hand. It hasn't been to his advantage. He's had to chase all sorts of kicks. And a couple have just gone straight over his head. And that's when there was a miscommunication between him and Matt Weller. It's been a frustrating old day. Kicks like this, when you've got your opponent beaten on the lead, there is nothing worse than watching the ball sail over your head and go straight to the bloke you've just worked hard to drop on the lead.
Well, the Blues kicked the first 3 of the second quarter, then the Saints come back. Carlton's kicked the first 4 now of this third quarter, and the Saints get back into it. Stephen with a high ball. Plenty of height, not a lot of distance. Simpson made good ground. Cade Simpson, former club champion, just goes short to Tui. Curnow provides 1 lead laterally. He's ignored. He wants to go into the middle, and he does, to Johnson. Johnson, maybe to McLean out wide. The race is on here. He's got to get there, and he does. Takes a slips catch on centre wing. Will he go backwards to Rowe? No, he'll go down the line. Henderson's a target. Takes it in front of the eyes.
Good lead, good kick.
Yeah, he's looked all right today. Yaron holds it for a long time. The hand pass puts Henderson under pressure. It's just a little too high. He's put Bell under pressure in turn because Gwilt's got him locked up. What a stoppage.
Good tackle. Thanks, boys.
13 minutes played.
Sorry, Sandy, I spoke about the uncontested possessions at half-time, and Carlton have totally turned that around. They've obviously copped the burst off Mick Moldhouse, 25-8 in this quarter, so they've turned it right around.
Sydney Premiership captain Barry Hall on the sidelines. Thanks, Baz. Murphy. Calling for it short was Jamison. Now, the key defender is going to pump them long and high to the top of the square. Casbolt had a chance, but he couldn't take it.
The other area that Barry spoke about in the first quarter was just their marks, pure marks from Carlton, where they had 49-10 for the quarter. It's looking not great again. They've already taken 11 so far in this quarter to the Saints, only 3.
And 48 possessions to 15, just can't get their hands on the ball, the Saints.
Close to the boundary line. It's going to be kept into Thomas. He ducks. He loses it. Weller can't take it. Thomas goes again.
You're right, 16 disposals in 14 minutes of game time so far in this third quarter, Jace.
And they're kicking at 30% in the third term to Carlton's 75%.
End of story. McLean. Hand passes shot out. They give a little ground to Jamison. He may go back even further. He does. To Walker, off to Murphy. Murphy kick's got to be good, and it is to Blaine Johnson.
See, some of Murphy's kicks today have been brilliant, haven't they?
Well, St Kilda could take a leaf out of that little disposal routine.
100%
back a long way.
100% kick efficiency for Everett, 89 for Murphy.
He fancies his chances from
It is.
55.
He's given himself a decent old run up. He's going to be kicking, as Jason said, from 55, and it's a helicopter punt that has decided to veer hard right. And just sneaking in one more.
Armitage marks the kick in, and then where to? He ponders. Short for Ray. Just before Yaron was able to get there and be a nuisance. Bombs it to the wing again. Gives Stanley a chance to run and jump at it. But Rowe's got that covered. And now Dale Thomas. And some time in defence at the moment. Stretches a 35-metre handball to McLean. Judd. His 13th disposal.
Good tackle.
Tailgated by Dunstan all the way. Forced the turnover. Billings appeared slow, but he just was devoid of options. So he just did the best he could. Doherty there to clean it up. And the Blues all sprint to the outer side.
Gibbs.
Walker's got Gibbs on. Everett will be next if he chooses. He might look inside for Johnson
He's
again.
having a quarter, Johnson.
Yeah. Now Walker. His 20th disposal. Casbolt was on the horizon. Takes the mark. The big number 41. Henderson ducks back to goal. He'll be the target. Warnock's getting down there as well for extra height, but Henderson's got the job all to himself. He had it well in hand, and Lockie Henderson can pop through another goal.
He'll have to go behind the mark to do it.
Well, he needs to get a footy for starters. No one's helped him out to go and get a footy for him once he kicked it through. He's still working it out. He's like,
fetch your
hang
own
on.
footy.
Who was it? John
Someone-
Todd that took the West Coast, the West Australian team through a routine when they came over one night. It was too late to kick. They had to pretend they had footies.
Simon White went and helped you out. That was nearly a fetch your own footy goal, that one.
Henderson for his third. And to extend Carlton's lead to a game-high 49 points.
Their big goal from the Blues on this occasion, but we're going to look at the set plays from the Saints that they've tried to produce today. We've seen it from Port Adelaide so far this year. This is the first one of the day, and you can see how everyone's out to allow Shenton to run down that position of the ground. This is the second one. They've still got players hanging around too close, which then allows the Blues players to come back into it. So that's where the Saints needed to be set up better, but good work by the Blues as well to identify it.
But when that happens, Jono, the onus is then on Shane Savage, who's kicking out, to say, you know what, we can't pull it this time. So I don't go for that kick. I go for the long safe option to Tools or look for other numbers. But there's no point going through with it if the setup isn't perfect for it.
3 to Henderson, 3 to White. The contest in the middle once again. Murphy crunched. Taken high. Little look away hand pass from Murphy. He enjoys those. Gives it off to Yaron. Floats it up towards Blaine Johnson. Second grab. He's going to be paid. I reckon he thought he didn't have it and he wanted to go. But he's having a very good quarter of football. Johnson, long, penetrating kick towards Henderson again. It gets front spot, but can't complete the mark. They pounce on it. The pressure on the St Kilda defence has been extreme. Shenton tucked in the back pocket, put Nunes under the pump. He loses it. Judd takes it from Murphy. Now Curnow, he put his teammate under the pump as well. And he's going to get away with it with a free kick for a push.
Mark Murphy just lurking here for the handball.
Possession number 7 in this quarter for Blaine Johnson. He's finding his feet slowly.
In actual fact, I was wrong. Mark Murphy was having a spell because he was knackered. I thought he was going to wrap around for the handball.
He's a big kick, this young boy.
He is. It's coming back, but not enough. Just straightened up and marked by Billy Longer on the very last line of defence.
So Longer, there's still a long way to go in this quarter, which has already been so productive for the Blues. 15-6 to 7-5. Kicked the last 6 goals, the Blues. Lead by 49 points. Savage. Peering into the middle and nothing there, so you can see he's off, bounding away across that last line. Uses Delaney. Still might have to go back to him, though he decides to kick. Stanley.
Really good kick.
Was. 17 disposals, Savage. Tagging it a half forward, lets himself and the team down.
He's done that a couple of times, hasn't he? 4 kicks. Straight to where the loose Carlton defender is.
Oh, Curnow wasn't coming at the ball, and Snyder was onto where it was headed. Revolt bundled it up, put it into the pocket for Billings. It's a much taller opponent in Jamison, who goes once and a second time. Great commitment from Jamison. Got it to Judd. Flicked it up. Billings will go hard again. And Sandy with the sound effects. Right on the money, Sandy.
Judd.
Out on the full.
Kicking efficiency of the Saints at 47% compared to over 70, as you can see, for Carlton to the outer side. He's done pretty well. Casbolt kicked a goal in the first quarter.
Reversal here.
So
some high contact.
Snyder is going to be the recipient.
Against Menzel for high contact.
Yep. So Delaney kicks it down towards Rewald, and his frustration would be growing by the minute, I would suggest.
He's remained composed, hasn't he, so far? We've seen the last few weeks.
Yeah.
He's got pretty flustered, Nick Rewald.
There's the free kick against Menzel, just going high on Robertson.
I think we missed the first bit because Robertson was doing most of the infringing then.
The Delaney hand pass, okay. Armitage couldn't find that one. Gibbs trying to get through some reasonably heavy traffic. Locked up virtually in the middle. Minchington it is who eventually gets it out. Shenton, the recipient. 55 from home, but he chips short, and that's going to be okay. Ross has taken the mark. So the opportunity for the Saints to break the drought, or is it it's Jack Billings who's going to take the kick? Billings, who we've seen have a couple of shots.
Just watch the way he waves the ball around, almost in a circular motion at times.
Thanks, Andrew. You're right.
A little bit of lateral ball movement in the hands before he kicks it.
Thanks, mate.
11 goals, 11 to his name.
That's
So
almost going around in a circle.
we know he's a 50-50 chance, but he brings that one back beautifully. Did Dick on that occasion, and he breaks the little drought that St Kilda's been suffering in this quarter. Billings gets his first, and the Saints finally get their 8th. First score of the quarter.
You can see him there, Sandy, work out the back of that stoppage with Walker, able to get goal side. So good run, good spread from that contest from Billings.
I reckon Nick Revolt would have been really envious when he saw that kick to Billings, wondering, I wonder why I haven't been hit with one of those today.
Margin 43.
Blood rule here against Armitage, is it?
St Kilda blood rule. St Kilda blood rule. Yeah, Armitage. Gotcha. Yep, Jack.
He's worked hard, David Armitage, in game number 100. He's had 19 possessions, kicking at 91%. 9 contested possessions, 3 clearances.
Yep, when you're ready, go. Here we go, boys.
Here we do go. Warnock interfered with.
Pushed him out of the contest.
No advantage. In fact, free kick's going the other way.
Stay there.
A little perplexing that.
Stay out.
Longers ball. High and wide. Stanley got shoved out of the road by Rowe. Just got into the position, knew where it was going much quicker. Well played, Sam Rowe.
Jack, keep coming out.
They certainly haven't been able to restrict Walker at all. He's had a field day back there with 22 disposals. Farron Ray, Wilt. So, as Sandy mentioned, Carlton have been out of the blocks in both other quarters, now 3 quarters, and the Saints were able to hit back previously, but they've kicked a goal here. Maybe they can get another and
Great kick.
again get back into this contest. Billings. Dennis Lane is the long target. Simpson. Good preparation from Dennis Lane, but not enough to take the mark. Everett, who started the game in blinding form. That's not his best kick.
He's bowled everyone.
And Henderson, look at the bounce.
Look at him go.
He's got
all
the half
way.
forward flank and the 50. He owns it. And after 2 bounces, he must kick a goal. Tired legs, didn't matter. Henderson's got 4.
Oh, it's on 2 in the forward pocket. Looks like the block that came in on Henderson is what put Dunstan on the ground. So our eyes were focused on, obviously, Henderson and the result coming after a big run, the ball getting over the back. Dunstan now working his way back.
Oh, look at that. Clean bowled 3 of them. And then sat up a treat for Lockie Henderson. Couldn't believe his luck. It's a terrific chase.
So here, the block, bang, big hit.
Well, that's a fair bump.
It was
though.
a fair bump.
That's a fair bump. I mean, it's a great chase from Dunstan. It's
It's
a
just
great
shoulder
shepherd
on
and block.
shoulder.
A great shepherding block from Tom Bell. No arguments with
And that would hurt as well because he's just tried to do a big chase down Dunstan. He's already fatigued.
And
then you
got
got
poleaxed.
a
Lockie
big whack.
would have thought all his Christmases had come at once. He was 30 metres away from the ball and then it just bounced fortuitously his way. Shenton defends.
been quiet. Dale Thomas, Jono, just the 11 possessions, no scoreboard impact.
Here's Ray. One of a number of changes the Saints made this week. Good to see him back. Nunes is down the line, and again the frustration mounts for Rewalt. It was smashed away from him by his immediate opponent, and Everett is able to amble out of defence and spear a pass into the middle. Well, they almost stopped for lunch. Curnow it was who eventually gets it away. They're a little lazy at the moment and a little slow. Tui gets caught and he might be pinged. He's going to get one for a high tackle.
High fend.
Okay.
I was going to say, it looked to be a really good tackle from Stanley.
So Stanley will take it. Too far out to score. Rewalt has dropped right back. He goes close to the man on the mark. It's underneath at a fraction. Rewalt will be at the back of the pack. Oh, and he almost took the mark. He soccers off the ground once. He soccers off twice. He did it in the first term and he's done it again now. It doesn't matter how. You don't have to draw pictures, but boy, he's got his third.
A goal a quarter for Nick Rewalt, and he did it the hard way. He couldn't believe it when it fell over. The whole pack missed it. He probably drops the chest mark in the end. Straight through, and then he has one go. He's probably going to go through. Just make sure of it.
Well, maybe he's better off positioning himself deep. At least it may keep him in the contest. When he's been up around half forward in the wing, they've missed him completely.
You see the dive from Dale Thomas. He chewed nothing but grass as he went across there. I don't think Mick's overly pleased with a couple of things that he's seen.
They haven't been a great team late in quarters, Carlton, have they? In recent times particularly, so they won't want to give up too many goals again. It has been a tough afternoon for Nick Rewalt, despite the 3 goals. Mick's still out there barking orders. Warnock had a bit of a swing and a miss. Gibbs, the ball doesn't exit out the side as planned. Good tackle from Murphy. He's been vicious with his tackling on occasions. Alan Richardson. You can see what's there for St Kilda in the future. The question is, how long are they going to have to wait, the St Kilda fans? And it's going to be quite a while. They've still got to, of course, manage the departure of some of their stars like Lee Montagna, who gets it deep to full forward. Longer and Revolt, both there. Plenty of big artillery. Neither could mark. Simpson to Dale Thomas. Snyder. Now, that might be 50.
Yeah. And no advantage from
Actually
the 50
worked to their
penalty.
disadvantage in a way.
Yeah.
50.
Yes, end zone. Yeah, stay in zone. You kick your zone.
Just his 12th disposal coming up, Dale Thomas.
Right there. Play on.
Farming it off to Jamison. Simon White earns the free. Casbolt's deep in the square. Coming up at the footy now. Warnock's also there for extra centimetres. It will be Casbolt that flies and drags it down. There's not too many better in the competition at taking a pack contested mark than Levi Casbolt.
He does like a pack mark, doesn't he? He's a big hulking brute. Just have a look. He stays on the move, and that stops Reece Stanley from getting body on him. That allows him to run and jump. Reece Stanley just needed to do a little better defensively, and Alan Richardson can see it as well. You've got to put some body on him.
So the contested mark stat there on the screen, 12-5 in favour of the Blues. They do have a lot more firepower. Certainly compared to St Kilda anyway. So Levi Casbolt for his second. A mark like that deserves a goal and gets a goal. And Carlton's lead returns to close to 50, 49 between the Saints and the Blues.
Once again going forward for the Blues. Great little hook lead from Casbolt, getting in behind, coming back at it, and takes the ball at the highest point. Got the jump there. Warnock was doing the body-on-body with Delaney, which then allowed Casbolt to continue to move. And that's what I've liked about Carlton today. When they've pushed forward, they've actually put the ball in a dangerous spot, allowed their forwards to either lead straight up the middle or deep and allow the bigs to jump.
So a minute remaining in the quarter. And the Blues in control. Casbolt, after kicking his second, comes in for a run. Judd couldn't take it out of the middle. Can the Saints get a late one? Bouncing ball is going to be claimed. Pushed towards the boundary line. It's going to be taken over. Savage won't get there in time. We've got to throw in.
Simon White, yeah, kicking 3 goals and mixer. That's enough for you. Back in defence now.
Back now. He was the man who just pushed it over the line. It has been good in front of goal. Longer. Schneider at the back. Hurriedly onto the left boot. Penetrating kick down towards half forward, but no one at home. And that's the man we were just talking about, Simon White. Going short to Rowe. Longer now. They've got players on the outer side, able to use it. Well, he wanted to go. He did want to go. Now goes back with just 23 seconds on the clock. Doherty going down the line. It's going to be okay. Thomas. Another short one to Curnow. Chip, chip, chip as they head down into the attacking zone. Path created for him, and he kicks to a pack. That includes Casbolt. Couldn't take the mark. And time eventually beats Carlton from scoring again. But a very good quarter by the Blues. And they managed to restrict St Kilda, as they did in the first quarter, to just 2 goals. And they themselves added a lazy 7. 17-6 plays 9-5. Big day for Malthouse and Carlton here at Etihad Stadium. The Blues leading by 49 points.
Well, that's what it comes down to now towards the end of the game. They were able to produce some good footy in that second quarter. The St Kilda, they should have nearly been within under 10 points at half-time with a great response. Able to control the quarter, but poor quarter there in the third quarter has let themselves down. So that's all they can do is respond, win the quarter and go home with at least a decent half of footy under their belt and some positive work to come out of this game.
We talked about Carlton's run. The Saints just as hard. North, Fremantle, Suns and Dogs. Every game tough for the Saints at the moment.
Might head down boundary side Barry Hall. I think the Saints have used their sub, have they, Baz?
Yes, they have used their sub, Jason. Sam Donnell has come on, and Trent Dennis-Lane, as you see on screen, has got the red vest on.
Okay, thank you, Baz. So final quarter, 49 points the margin. Here's Hutto.
Thank you, Sandy. A dynamic third term by the Blues, and they'll be looking to feast some more in this last term. Henderson has 4 goals, Simon White 3, Menzel and Casbolt with 2 each. And as they get underway, it's the Saints, though, with the first clearance after Longer got the ball down to Armitage. Now Jack Stephen comes scooting through, but all the way with him was Curnow, and the ball is over the line and out of bounds.
No great surprise to see Trent Dennis-Lane as the man subbed out. Just the 6 possessions. He kicked 2 behinds, 5 kicks at 20%. It's just got to make, plays that half-forward role, and sometimes you don't get a lot of opportunities. You've got to make the most of them. If you're not kicking goals,
you'd have to say he's playing for his career as well.
Yep.
Weller. Now Revolt looking for a free, and the ball bounces cruelly away.
And you got to be brutally honest. Alan Richardson's going to be having a very close look at his list. He's going to look at what he needs, what he doesn't need, who's worth persevering with, and who's not. And so there are a lot of players. Trent Dennis-Lane is one of them that need to prove to the coach that they are required on the list, that they have a role that they can play for the club.
Warnock poked it down. Much wriggle room in there for Dale Thomas.
Figure 4 leg lock.
No one in the square, even though the ball's only 20 metres out. So dribble kicks on here. There it is. And Doherty was able to read it pretty well. The Blues can team up on the way out. Walker for Johnson.
Good hands.
Yeah. Well, I think Blues fans have seen something in Johnson. He can kick the ball high, as he showed there. Everett drops the mark. Started the game in a blaze of glory. Everett has had a few little uncharacteristic errors as the game's gone on. Still has 21 disposals to his name, though. Revolt kicking it forward.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, that's more like it. It's mark number 11, 12, in fact, for Andreas Everett. Jamison kept it coming to Gibbs.
Just wanted to move it quickly, and it's paid off.
Goes to Curnow.
They're out now.
Gives it plenty down the line. Simon White had to wait, but he's marked it. Gripping on. Menzel's bolting to his right, and Casbolt was coming up and wanted it.
I had to kick it to Casbolt.
Goes to Henderson instead, who did everything but take the mark. And now Tommy Bell comes into the act. Flicks it back, and they've controlled it well. The Blues way too easy.
They'll get out of it okay, but Levi Casbolt gave the best lead into the vision of Simon White that you'd ever want. Sometimes in today's game, they're always looking for the one over the back too often, and that lead-up target is often the easiest one to hit.
Keep it simple, Jace. Hit the easy targets when they're on.
Been known to shank the odd one.
I was just going to say, Robbie Warnock, like most big blokes, not necessarily the most reliable in front of goal. But he's kicked that pretty well. And the Blues go beyond 50 for the first time. Warnock's first. The margin sneaks out to 55 points now. 18 goals for the Blues. It's a big tally.
This will back up exactly what you're saying, Jace, as they're just
see
opens
bottom
up.
left of the
There it is,
screen. Look
mate.
at that. He's clear.
Oh.
In the end, Henderson probably should have marked
yeah.
it. But it just shows that there's options aplenty for the Blues, and the Saints' defence is under serious pressure.
No one within 15 metres of Warnock.
Makes you wonder where Billy Longer was.
They'll be keen to get Tom Hickey back in the team, I would have thought.
So back in the middle. Longer now with Warnock. Judd. Reasonably held today. Goes up towards half forward. Casbolt went a little early. Nunes applies pressure. Nunes takes it back again. Eventually it lands with Robertson. Dylan Robertson kicks down the line, smashed defensively over the line. As young Minchington been relatively quiet today.
Thanks, boys.
After playing as the sub last week, kicking a couple of goals. Longer wins it out. Murphy working hard at the bottom of the pack. Taking a scouting. Eventually it did come out, but only for a moment. Joey Montagna was on all fours before Warnock takes it over the boundary.
You mentioned Minchington quiet, Sandy. 8 possessions and a goal, but he shows a bit of class. He's a player you definitely think is worth persisting with.
Longer in front. Warnock takes it. Spirals a high ball, not a lot of distance in it, towards the 50. Thomas is at the bottom, along with Menzel. Menzel could have hurt himself in that encounter. We'll keep an eye on him.
Shoulder.
Yeah,
not looking at all good at the moment.
Still holding. You see him there bending over number 2.
Yeah.
I'd like to think it's just a stinger, but the way he's holding the arm isn't great. I think he's going to make his way off.
Shenton under the pump. Delaney also under the pump. Here's a chance for Judd. Gives the hand pass away. The hurried snap at goal is good. And they're pouring it on now. Who'd like to kick one? Sam Doherty puts his hand up and says, I'll have one. As Menzel leaves the ground, and we'll go down to Barry Hall shortly. I'm sure Baz will be able to find out exactly what the problem is. Doherty gets his first.
It's just basically shoulder on shoulder, I think, as Savage went in hard for the ball. Nothing untoward about it. 2 players going in hard for the ball. But then again, there's always options. There's always been loose players lurking around the 50-metre arc. That time it's Sam Doherty that gets on the end of it. Pretty ordinary clearance kick.
Yeah, it was, but they're at that number now. They've had 10 individual goal kickers in this game, and that's the number. If you get a 10+ in a game, you're either right in it or you're totally in control like Carlton are at the moment.
We spoke about St Kilda's lack of spread of goal kickers, just the 6, which is around their average.
Yep.
Well, they're ready for it on the way out. Eventually it got to him. Now Ross, as they spring into action. Kicks to Revolt. Genuine one-on-one against Jamison. The ball out the back. The race is on. Who's going to get there first? Tui. Yes, to his own advantage. Minchington hunts him down.
Great tackle.
Successfully bundles him over the line. Beard and all. And we'll have a throw in the forward pocket.
Really good tackle, this. He tried to put a move on him, Tui, and come back inside.
Warnock slapped it down. Snyder was trying to slip through the tackle. Warnock again. Straight back to Montagna. And now Gwilt with a bit of a run up. High ball tosses it for Ray. And ball slapped back out to the 50. Should be Seb Ross's. In fact, it's Nunes. To the right. And there's a good hard mark. A young man who, well, he belies his age, really, Dunstan. He looks like he'd be in his mid-20s for a start by his body size. And he certainly had a wonderful start to his career.
He's also looking at the handball here. There it is.
To Savage, and we know the distance is not going to be an issue. And goalpost high again, it sails through. Shane Savage kicks his second.
I walked in this afternoon, Hutto, with Luke Dunstan, and he did the right thing. Gave his ticket to David Armitage to walk in his 100th, thinking he had another one in his bag. Then couldn't get in because he gave the 100th gamer his ticket to get in today. So just a total team player, Luke Dunstan, and does the right thing there, looking after his teammate as well with Shane Savage.
I don't reckon that would have pleased Mick Mulhausen, because that's the second time from a similar position, the last one a little further out, that Savage has been the player who they know is a long kick, wrapped around, got the hand pass and converted.
Down to you, Baz. Got an update on Troy Menzel?
Yeah, he went straight down the race, Hutto, so I reckon that's concerning. And look, it's a concerning thing for me when you're running, you can't even swing your arm when you're coming off the ground. So I reckon he's in real trouble. When he surfaces from the race, I'll give you all the updates.
All right, thanks, Baz. That could be just about cooked for the day.
Drifted out of the game, Menzel, but gee, he was good early.
Yeah.
9 possessions, kicked a couple of goals.
Into attack once again. No mark taken. Chance for Billings. He's under the pump. Jack Stevens is there to assist. Now Jamison again, just trying to poke it forward, away from Curnow and co. They're going to get out of trouble. Walker's away. Spears a pass. That's a beautiful kick and a wonderful mark. He's taken a couple like that in front of the eyes today, Henderson. Good pair of hands, clean, towards centre wing. And that was too easy for Daisy Thomas. He's away. Says, come on, here you go. Directs it down towards White. Swings around now. Centering ball. He flicks it in towards full forward. McLean couldn't pick it up on the half volley. Johnson tried to get it out to him. He actually tried to get boot to his own ball. And was unsuccessful. So we've got a stoppage 20 metres out. Almost 10 minutes gone in this final turn. Casbolt trying to get it towards the scoring zone. Bell is a fierce tackle. Weller was absolutely surrounded, so had to go out the back door, and it finishes with Joey Montagna. Had a very quiet day early on. Savage comes back, finding Gwilt in the back pocket. Gwilt finally called to go. And he does. Ray backing into the pack showed courage. There's a big pack of players. Now Schneider. Penetrating hand pass. Out the back is Rewalt. Tucks it under his arm. One bounce. Could have another one. Just goes short to Stephen, who takes the mark.
Just showing the rest of his teammates that if a player leads, you can honour it and hit them on the chest.
Stephen had plenty of area to move as well. Had the entire 50-metre arc to work a lead. So he had 3 or 4 lead attempts before finally getting Zach Tui off his tail.
Farron Ray up after standing in front of that pack.
I was looking forward to Nick Rewalt doing a Lockie Henderson there and maybe seeing whether Walker could run him down from behind.
Not to be. He's left it with this man, Jack Stephen, from 45 metres. Drop punts on its way. Just misses to the right. One behind.
Might now wish that he'd had a bounce on the shot.
Margin 54. Tough afternoon for Alan Richardson. Doherty, whose kicking's been a little bit, in fact, been very good today. Been a little bit indifferent the last few weeks. Gone at 100% so far. Henderson came late, made that look good. That's a really good mark. And Dale Thomas drifting down the wing. Away from Savage, off the left into the 50. Oops. It might set up for Levi. Bounding after him was longer, but the fence and the line was a little closer. Casbolt with a couple of goals. 3 to White, 4 to Henderson.
An interesting day from an individual's perspective. No super standout players, are there?
Jard got crunched by
over the entire game. Players have had quarters, haven't they, where they've really dominated, but not over their entire game.
Shenton decides to handball. Armitage the instant left footer. Another one from Schneider. Up to the wing, Rewalt was in his sights. Comes to Stephen. And now Donnell. Billings down the line, can't mark Yaron. Good defensive work, and allowed it to free up for Walker. Now Murphy. Gibbs. Starting to find it now, Bryce Gibbs, but had a quiet day. 13th disposal, back to Walker. He's certainly got plenty of it. He's 26th. Swings it across to Simpson. They come this side, the dock side. Hard lead from Dale Thomas. He'll be in his sights. Henderson's back in the square. Casbolt's there as well. There's plenty of moving targets. Simpson. Tom Bell on offer. Everett came up as well. See on about the 40-metre mark. Simpson got himself into a bit of a whirl. And then kicks off the left into the pocket for Casbolt. It's going to drop short. Forced to spoil. No free kick. Judd trying to hoover it up there. Going in hard wide. Out to Bell. Braced himself for the tackle which was coming. And we're not going too far out of there, I don't think. Snyder.
Oh, blow the whistle, please.
Oh, yeah.
Keeps it going, and Gwilt's able to wade his way through and find Minchington on the way out.
So the Saints eventually get it out. Minchington goes to the outer side. Shenton. Doherty gives chase. He's got a bit of toe. Floats it up towards Rewalt and Rowe. Rewalt in front spot, receiving plenty of attention. Doherty just pans it over to Rowe and says, you take it. And so he does. And they go up towards Johnson. Johnson spears a pass in towards Thomas, but he received attention from Gwilt. The ball spills free to Roberton. Roberton into the wide open spaces. A bad bounce for Jack Stevens, but fortuitously he was able to get back on Curnow.
How did he get rid of the ball there?
Threw that out. Murphy short to McLean. McLean back in towards Judd.
I think the art of tackling gets overlooked at times. We don't reward good tackles enough.
I think that's what will be corrected over maybe the summer period. Just they'll have a good look back at everything. Incorrect disposal is one little.
Casbolt comes in from the side and takes a big mark, just 25 out.
He'll line up for goal number 3, Levi Casbolt. Just the 7 possessions. Has taken 6 marks.
Between him and Henderson down there, they have controlled the air.
He has got a great set of hands.
Hasn't he?
Always one grab, Levi Casbolt.
So this for number 3. He kicked 1 in the first, 1 in the third. Let's see if he can kick 1 at this end of the ground. 45-degree angle, no problems at all. No problems at all for the big man. 3 goals to Levi Casbolt. Gives him an even dozen for the year.
Confidence is building, Jace, with his goal kicking as well. You can just see there he's more confident in his approach. But it's on the back of some of his work here. Getting back in behind this time, with Longer just not able to get back in time to put any sort of body pressure on with a spoil.
Let's get some good news from Barry Hall for Carlton fans.
Yeah, Menzel's has got his shoulder heavily taped. He's just re-entered the game now, so not all doom and gloom for Carlton.
All right, good stuff. Just in terms of Carlton's forward line, John, I mean, they've been crying out for a key forward for a long time. Waite's frustrated, obviously. Yep. Is there enough there in Henderson and Casbolt to think that they could be the 2 pillars?
Yeah, I think so, especially with Henderson with his work rate ability. That's where we mentioned someone like a Tom Lamb, a young player who can get back as well with some height. Is something they may look at then as the 3rd that can move as a forward in the future. But they've got the players there to build around, no doubt, the Blues.
Well, Simon White's played that 3rd tall role very well today.
Yep.
I think Menzel gives you a good mid-sized leading option. And I like the idea of having a Yaron or a Garlett if he's in a little bit of form playing there as well.
Ball close to the line, just stays in. Good tackling from Rowe. Up for grabs again. The desperation's still there for the Blues. Simpson had Judd in mind. Off the left, Judd goes for Casbolt again. You won't stop him taking marks. He's just got to get to where the footy is a little more, and he'll get more of it.
Just clamps the big hands on.
Now Jamison advancing, cross half back, plenty on the kick. Henderson with lots of reserves next to him. Marks paid. They've been tough on marks this year as a rule. It was a little fortunate. Now there's no real talls down there.
Casbolt's floated down, and Montagna's got to pick him up.
He wants to give to Tui. He's pretty fair at the long bomb.
Here we go.
Casbolt again. He'll get it.
Who do you think's going to win that battle? That is just poor that no one was called back or no one got back. He doesn't want to know about it, Lee Montagna. He's just walked off in disgust.
So Casbolt coming in for his 4th goal. He can kick it up into about the 3rd tier.
They're happy up there.
That was marked halfway up in the 3rd tier.
Equal best individual performance from Levi Casbolt, 4 goals.
So was this a mark? Yeah, it actually was.
Yep.
The ball was slapped out. He took one clean grab, so good decision from the umpire. Now have a look at poor Lee Montagna. Look at the size difference, the weight difference, the height difference, the strength difference. He couldn't get near him.
Just flicked him on like a fly.
Yeah, he tried a bit of leg action, Lee Montagna.
Just batted him away.
Karate kick.
Stop annoying me.
Wax on.
Here it is, right up.
So they've doubled their score now, 132 to 66, with under 7 minutes remaining in the match.
Scores from turnovers have been huge.
16.
Look at that, 16, just accurate.
Warnock won it. Billings couldn't take it out. Warnock gets another opportunity. Gwilt in front of Casbolt marks. So Gwilt swings around, comes towards the wing. Here's Schneider going up towards Rewald on the 50. A better delivery, but it's Jamison who's claiming the mark. Not to be. Play on, so Stanley does. He's in all sorts of bother. Gets it down towards Weller, who tried to dribble it forward. Not successful. The Gibbs hand pass drops a little short. Stanley will go again. He has the ball held, or is he going to be pinged? It's a stoppage.
Who would you think would be the most influential player on the ground today,
Look,
Jace?
it's a tough one. I still think Andreas Everett, for the way he started the game, was as good as any player out on the ground, but no one's put together really big numbers. Andrew Walker's chalked them up now off halfback. He's got 27, but the next best is 23.
Montagna couldn't trap it on the ground, and it's taken over the line by McLean.
And we're so used to seeing midfielders having 30, 35 touches a week. Hasn't been that sort of game.
No.
So it's 23 for Murphy, 21 for Judd and Doherty, 23 for Armitage and Savage for the Saints.
Stevens to Savage to Nunes to Ray. Up towards half forward. Simpson did well to trap it and then give it to Rowe. Pops it over to Doherty, who spikes it even further forward. Back to Simpson. Well done. Simpson's down on centre wing. All of a sudden they go up towards McLean on half forward. Smashed away towards the boundary line. Going to be kept in play, but an errant hand pass opens the door for Carlton once again. Now where's Menzel? Couldn't take the mark, but he had assistance there too in the form of Everett. He couldn't take it. Armitage is in front of the pack. Hand pass is going to drop short. Puts pressure on his teammate. Curnow, a good tackle. Held one arm. It was a ripping tackle. So
You've got to pick him now.
it does beg the question, and he's very, very lucky. Boy. So,
Reminder there that we're in round 16. Murphy kicks the full forward, and it's well controlled. And the young man's going to have a shot from close to goal this time, Blaine Johnson.
He's up to, this will be possession number 15. He's looked dangerous. He moves well. He's got better as the game's gone on. How does he get rid of this? Well, if you tell me that there was legal disposal there.
Watch them come to him. If he puts it through for his first goal, sack.
The massive build-up, and look what you did to him.
They were starting to run, the Carlton boys.
It's hard to come to a bloke after that.
They just snubbed him straight after that.
11 disposed in the second half for Johnson.
Shenton tucked in the back pocket. Just waits for one ball to be taken from the ground, then goes long outside the high-flying Walker. Completes a beauty. Plays on quickly. Murphy stabs to Simpson. Now Simpson can come across to Jamison, and he does. They've opened it up here. They've got players screaming everywhere. Here's Doherty. On right half forward. He'll put them inside 50, but then decides to go very close to out of bounds on the full.
Oh, he's sore. He's very sore.
There's no point being there. Absolutely no point being out there.
He stretched for one when he came back on and looked okay, but this one here, yeah, it's
He's 70 points up. Get off the ground.
Get the boy off.
And why the trainer hasn't, or the physio or runner or someone hasn't gone out and said get off is beyond me.
They got to get him off. There's a delightful kick. Days gone by with Ray Jordan.
Here he comes.
Well, that's a good goal to Doherty, and the Blues are pouring it on.
Yeah, you got to get the boy off, and there he goes. There's no point forcing the issue. All too easy here. Lack of pressure at the stoppage. And Doherty's been a good player. He's fitted in well at the Blues. That's 23 possessions and a couple of goals for him now.
Yes, he and Andreas Everett have been handy pickups, haven't they? It's a big list of multiple goal kickers for the Blues today. Doherty and Everett with 2 goals, Yaron with 2, Menzel with 2, and then even more kicked by Simon White with 3. So the Blues are going forward again. Yaron from outside the 50. And that's gone right across the face. As well as 4 goals to Henderson and to Casbolt. Chris Yaron hasn't played a major role today. 14 disposals, 2 goals. Some nice things, ever dangerous. Curnow looking for an outlet. Didn't find a clean one. Dunstan with a kick. Finds Wilt. Last 3 minutes now. What have we got in store?
That's it, hold there now, stop there, right there, that's it,
We
thank
might
you.
have one big highlight left. Maybe a flashy goal or a big grab, Jono.
Well, hopefully it comes. Hopefully it comes from Carlton as well, because they've produced a fantastic second half. They deserve now to finish on a real high. Hopefully we get a goal from Blaine Johnson. He missed his one earlier. Hopefully in the last 3 minutes he can kick one. And
Who's your best on, Jono? Who would you nominate? You with Jason Everett?
yeah,
or?
no, I think Walker's been best on today with his four-quarter performance. Everett first half, no question.
McLean.
Great hit.
Oh, wasn't it? Couldn't help but mark that Simon White. There's a hole in his chest where it hit. Bang. Great delivery. And he'll go back looking for his 4th goal. A man who'd only kicked 2 up until today.
The old worm burner.
Oh, look at that.
You can't spoil those. Decent chunk out with a knee
Yeah.
hit the deck as well. But he's proved the perfect foil. As a presenter, a marking option, also can play as a mid-size, not just a tall. So he can play on ground balls as well.
And occupying Dempster, who can be a damaging intercept player. For his 4th goal, Simon White. He's had a day out, a day to remember.
He's had fair delivery this afternoon, Simon White, as well, as have all the forwards, the key forwards for the Blues. And he's likely to run. No, he's going defensively here, just to go back behind the footy. And maybe this is just a bit of control here now from Carlton. Try a few different things out. That if they get in this situation against one of the better sides in the competition, which they have been in games recently against the Cats and the Pies, that they're just trying a few different things to allow themselves to maybe remain in control at a latter stage of a quarter.
Simon White booted 2 in the first quarter, 1 in the third, and now that one to cap off a pretty good day in front of the big sticks. Warnock gets a run at it, but it's going to be the Saints who take it out of the middle. Long as ruck tile stay all day for St Kilda. Here's Kate Simpson. Handballs backwards. Now they've got Tui wide. He's used. Curnow short. And he is used. So the Blues return to the winners list in a big way. And for the Saints, it's 10 losses in a row. Rowe is called to go. And he does. He's got a line of players. There's Doherty to the outer side. Murphy up towards the wing. And Everett again.
He's playing on Montagna at the moment, Andreas Everett. Montagna's just the 12 possessions for him, John. It's been a really tough day, hasn't it?
It has been very.
That was
I don't think he's running as hard as what I've seen Montagna in recent years. So
Shenton gives it off to Dempster.
There's a little issue there or something.
Shenton goes again. He followed it down. Now he's got a problem. He finds the boundary line.
He's had a few games recently, Montagna, where he hasn't had as many disposals. Had 13 in round 9, 14 in round 12, and 17 in round 13. It's very unlikely.
Yeah, but he's played defensively in those games as well. So a different type of role for Montagna at certain stages. But
missed Lenny Hayes today, that other bloke that the opposition have to worry about.
Casbolt did the ruck. They've got it down to centre wing amidst plenty of pushing and shoving. And eventually it's thrown out.
Look who.
The Bents is going to sit quietly in towards the open goal. Murphy will just give it off. And here's another one. Chris Yarran stops to a walk and then puts it through for perhaps the final highlight of the day for Carlton. Yarran gets his 3rd. Blues fans happy to be back.
Got crunched, Lockie Henderson.
Dominoes.
But gets involved again. And he's half the reason they got forward. Gets the hand pass out. I'll tell you what, I thought he'd just chip the ball over with a little kick, Murphy. He gives an ordinary old hand pass at the end. But he's got all the time in the world to track the bouncing ball, pick it up and stroll in, kicks a left foot barrel.
So 17 seconds to go.
I like Yarran in the forward line. Really do like him there.
The last centre bounce you would suspect. Casbolt got it down. Still going hard, the Blues. Walker hit it, but it's Nunes with a penetrating kick. Might be time for a Saints goal, although once again, the Blues have got the answers. Shovel it over the boundary for a throw in.
It's
been a massive second half by Carlton. Under threat at half-time. Margin had been cut to 15 points. It's now 85. And the siren sounds. Carlton with a massive score, 24-7, defeating St Kilda 10-6. And a rare opportunity for Carlton fans and players to enjoy a huge victory. An 85-point win, which perhaps shows the gap between the Saints and the rest at the moment.
Yep, successive 7-goal quarters in the second half for Carlton tells the story. Blistering in front of goal and with a plethora of goal kickers, and some coming from unlikely sources. Casbolt finished with 4. White finished with 4. Henderson, we know, is a goal kicker. He booted 4. And Yaron, with that last little gimme, finished with 3. They were the main producers as far as Carlton was concerned. Nick Riewoldt so often has played a lone hand up forward for the Saints. He kicked 3, but it was a frustrating day for the key forward.
It certainly was for Nick Riewoldt. I reckon from a Carlton perspective, Mick Mould has to be happy with the efficiency in front of goal. 24 goals, 7. That's very, very accurate. Not something that they've always been accused of, accuracy in front of goal this season. So pleasing to make the most of those opportunities. For St Kilda, well, they had a really good quarter in the second quarter, still littered with some errors that cost them goals. They've got to learn how to spread that effort from the second quarter over a 4-quarter match.
All right, we might head down to the ground. Barry Hall, who have you got for us, Baz?
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Here with Andrew Walker. Fantastic effort from you today, but more importantly, good to get a win after 5 straight losses.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It's it can be a tough game, and it's probably what we needed. A really good win like that. We fought really hard. We had a bit of a lapse in that second quarter, so it was good to have a really good half of footy where we stuck to our structures.
And what was said at half-time, you spoke about the second quarter, was really disappointing. You let the Saints back in the game.
Yeah, right. Mick didn't have to say too much. It was more the players coming in. We knew the mistakes we were making. We're playing like millionaires in the second half of that second quarter, so just need to get back to structure, and I think we did that in the second half.
And a really important win for morale. As I said, 5 in a row you've lost coming into this game. It's a really important win for club morale, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said before, mate, it can be an extremely tough place to be around a football club when you're losing like that, and just be good to get some, like you said, just some fun around the club again, and like you said, a win like that's just fantastic for us.
Go and enjoy it.
Thanks, Baz. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Barry. Andrew Walker, outstanding, 28 disposals. Really had it all to himself in defence, and his ball use was outstanding. It's the biggest win by Carlton over St Kilda since 1978, and they won by 100. And Carlton had dominated St Kilda for years and years, but then the Saints were able to return that domination as they became a powerhouse under Greg Thomas and Ross Lyon.
Let's go back down to Barry Hall. He's got a big marking forward, a man after his own heart, Levi Casbolt.
Yeah, thanks, Chase. Well, what a fantastic effort from you today. 4 goals, your best return yet, but all the forwards look like a pretty dangerous place down there today.
Yeah, it was good. We just got it in quick to us. We thought they were a bit undersized down back, so if we got it in quick, Whitey playing his role on Dempster and coming out of the square was good, so no, it was good to get on the end of it.
And we spoke about Mick, give us a bit of a burst at half-time. You just come out a different team after half-time.
Yeah, it was very disappointing to go away from what we did well in the first quarter, and we let them sort of back in the game. So, yeah, we got a bit of a kick at half-time, and to come out and respond after half-time was really good.
Well done today. Go and enjoy it.
No worries, thank you.
Yeah, 8 marks to the big man, and he was amongst the goals as well, Levi Casbolt. We'll take a break. Stay with us, still more to come after Carlton's massive 85-point win over St Kilda.